Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is Chrissy. I hope you are having a good afternoon, evening, day, whatever it is, wherever the time is where you are. As you can see from my screen, which I'm completely sharing, I'm actually going to stop sharing so you can see my guest, his avatar. Although I guess it would change over. Sorry, I haven't locked down to me, which I also have to do. I wanted to bring. Sorry, this is all very. I'm doing technology while I'm talking, and I'm messing everything up. But anyway, I wanted to welcome John back to the show. Now the first thing I interacted with you about is that you did that write up of the Sargon talk or the
Yes,
ownage.
the interview, your happy hour interview where he had all those Justice Democrats, all one of them that he was able to name. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Quite priceless contribution from Carl Tegan Ahura Mazda. Why is John cocking at the chat?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll open that up myself. I have to pause it so that it doesn't screw up with the stream. But on my other screen, I will make a point of looking at the chat too while we're online. So, all kinds of fun things I'm able to do now that I figured out how to extend my screen from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Right. So what you were we were on Twitter, and I think you asked me about this. And I was, shall I say interested is not the right word. Like, the way you're interested in a car crash, like you can't not look at it, but you also kind of don't want to have the experience. So we thought, I thought I'd bring you on because let's face it, watching Carl alone is less tolerable than doing it in groups.
Just to address the chat, hello, my name, my Twitter handle is @John91919. For those who don't know, a previous Christy Winters video talked about male suicide. Yeah. So if you look back through those archives, then hello, I'm a returning feature.
Yes, and we had a more serious conversation last time, so it seemed fair to have one that was a bit more fun. And you suggested this one, so really, we're just going to get on with it. Now we had two. We just did introduce the guest, Dead Vinny. He's a Twitterer who also does some freelance reactions to shitlords. Is that what you say?
Yeah, and I've had a particularly fun exchange with the Money Badgers. If you've seen the Honey Badgers with their spectacular views on men's rights and how oppressed how oppressive the feminists are. It was really enlightening. Yeah,
that'd be one way to put it. But so you've kind of done a bit of online sparring with the Money Badgers, and you're good people. So we're gonna have this basically a watch and a giggle. I'll go ahead and
before we start the video. One thing we should do first is we should scroll down to Sargon's pinned comment, because that should give you an idea of just how much of a ridiculousness this video is, and just how much of a complete softballing this interview is. So if you scroll down, where it says, "Hey, folks."
Yep. Can you read it off the screen, or shall I?
Yeah, if you could. Oh, hello. So, hey, folks. So I know there are going to be people who won't be happy that I interviewed Candace Owens and didn't mention their grievances with her. I know this won't satisfy, but I really didn't feel like it would be a productive use of the short time I had to interview her. It seems the only real reason to do so would be to get her to admit she was wrong about something.
Sorry. Just...
Yeah, I'm trying to do my best Carl impression.
We appreciate that,
But I can't remember what, so I would have to look into it. And all it would do is mire the conversation in moral judgments, which the S-Jews do to me all the time. I can't stand it, and it makes the conversation pointless. Candace is a personal friend of Trump and Kanye, and I didn't want to waste the opportunity. Which roughly translated actually means, Candace wasn't going to come if I asked her any hard questions.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much.
And plus, I get the feeling that Carl needs Candace to appear with him more than Candace needs Carl to appear with her. Which also brings up another interesting query. Are either of these guys getting paid for this interview? Because, I mean, I don't know how Carl's supporting himself now that the old Patreon's gone, and I'm not entirely sure if he's got any cash to pay Candace with. And no matter how much sympathy Carl might be getting from Patreon, I hardly think that Candace would have forked out any money for, you know, giving Carl some pity time. So, yeah,
it does seem, and this is my favorite line. What was it? But I can't remember what, so I would have to look into it. Like, oh no, you have to look something up, Carl, you lazy POS.
It would take him more than 1 or 2 Sargons in time periods, you know. He can't manage 5 minutes of research. Come on, Christy.
Looking something up for an interview with a big star, you know, why would he do something like that?
Big.
Well, you know, in terms of like the conservative movement, she's bigger than him. She's bigger than him. Oh, you broke up a little bit there, John.
Sorry?
You broke up a little bit there.
Oh, am I?
You're back now, but yeah.
Okay. One thing that should be noted as well about Candace Owens. People might recall a video from Blair White where she talked about people that she knew within the alt-right who basically seemed to be just doing it for the money, who had, you know, dramatically reversed positions that they'd had, you know, before. And then once it became clear that joining the having more extreme right-wing views was more profitable, then they absolutely started to make bank off that. And I mean, one obvious example is Dave Rubin, because of course, you know, prior to his current behavior, he did actually used to be pretty moderately secular left, I think.
Well, he did try to sell himself in that position, and then when he found a more profitable one, he fit that mold instead.
And I'd say that Candace Owens is another example because people may remember that she used to, she was once involved in a thing called Social Autopsy. And I believe that was a project that I believe, I could be mistaken on this, it was meant to be a doxing program that would have gone after the bad people, any kind of harassers.
Yeah, I think it was meant to like keep a digital trail of people online, and people referred to it or called it, like a doxing site or something.
Yeah. And when there was some understandable negative reaction to that, Candace decided to blame the progressives and, and decided to hang out with the Kotaku in Action crowd because they're obviously completely honest people who have no agendas whatsoever. Right. All right. Shall we? So
with that background.
Yep, that's the background. So shall we do? Let's start. And let's have a safe word as well. I've been playing a lot of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So shall we go with objection?
Sure, that sounds absolutely fine. I'll recognize that word. Yeah. So the idea is we're gonna try to get through like 3-minute blocks.
Yeah, 3-minute blocks.
Now we're gonna shout them during the 3-minute blocks, but we were trying not to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the goal here. We're gonna do a speed review. So I'll do a final. If there's any problems with the sound, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just look at the chat and we'll go.
How's it going, Candace?
It's going really well, actually.
Fantastic.
Very exciting.
Right now, because when you're dealing with any kind of activist who's been working for a long time, you have to address certain things that they've done in their past and said that people on the left and right apparently don't like. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to do that because I find that to be kind of a leftist tactic. This is what they do with me all the time. You tweeted something 5 years ago and now you have to be held accountable.
Yes, you said it. So explain yourself.
Can we talk about what happened with you and Kanye West?
Yeah, no, for sure. So obviously Kanye found my videos online and they were sent to him and he started watching them and it was very exciting. Obviously he tweeted me and was willing to get into sort of this political fight for Black minds to be freed. There's a bit of a backstory there. I did a bit of traveling with him and I think the cleanest way to say it is just that there was a tremendous amount of pressure on Kanye when he was tied to Brexit. And
Objection.
he respectfully asked for a break.
Sorry.
And
oh, sorry, wrong screen. Sorry, I'm watching it on a different screen. Go ahead.
The Brexit thing. Now let's understand that that's the this drive by Candace to get Black people to desert the Democrats because she feels that the Democrats are failing Black people. Now, or rather that it's just the automatic assumption that Black people should vote Democrat. But, throughout this interview, she's not going to provide us any real significant case why Black people should turn to Trump, because it's Trump's Republicans who, and indeed all the Republican parties in the last 50 years who have been trying to disenfranchise and restrict the rights of Black people to vote through numerous programs. And of course, there's numerous poverty-related stuff that's also related to very much Republican-based policies. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Democrats are definitely not perfect, but, lesser of two evils, and there's no real compelling case for the Republicans to be this thing that Candace is championing so much.
For me, I mean, I think African Americans who vote for the Republican Party are voting against their interests, but I think a lot of working class whites vote Republican against their interests. But with the main objection, kind of on your point, the main objection I have to not all Black Republicans, but Candace and Kanye who jumped on this bandwagon quickly, and you've seen it articulated also by white Republicans.
Yes,
that Black people who are vote for the Democratic Party are somehow brainwashed or stupid, but it's the Black people who vote for Republicans who are the smart ones. They figured it out, and they don't really say why, other than it's a land of opportunity, and we're going to take away, equality programs. I'm not quite sure. So this is why you're right. They don't have particular policy outcomes for the GOP that are, really addressing issues in the Black community. So. And I want to say also, I should say, when I was first appointed and then I was elected to the county board when I was 20 for Winnebago County in Wisconsin, and the other student, so I was a white female liberal, and the other student who was elected from that same district was a Black conservative man who was a little bit older than me, but because our districts were parallel, he was 33 and I was 32 or something like that. We were sat next to each other for a lot of the meetings. And we became friends, and we're still friends, like on Facebook, and he's he stayed Republican up until Trump. He stayed Republican, through his 20s and 30s, and if he's as old as me now, 40s and approaching 50s. And it was the party that left him. He didn't leave his party. He was actually posting today about Steve King finally being reprimanded for his racist comments, and and so we've always disagreed on policy, but we've gotten along as people. And so I've seen him mourn the loss of his party. And this is to me, Trump's Republican Party is not the one that's the most welcoming to African Americans.
No. All right, let's try and get to the 4-minute mark.
Right, we did make it a minute. Oh, and can I just say, since we've got this angle as well, this is not a good camera angle for Carl.
No.
Compare Candace, right, how she takes up the space, and then compare Carl.
Is that the same shirt he wore to the EU?
It might be. Maybe he only buys black shirts so he doesn't have to think.
And good. And hang on. Sorry, what's with the tea set? I mean, come on.
Well, if I don't know whether the interview is happening, if it's happening in America or Britain, but that is kind of an old-fashioned tea set, I have to say. Like, yeah, but it's quite sweet. And nicely, they've got both brown and white sugar there. So if you had coffee, you could also have brown sugar in your coffee. So
255 AD, Carl looks like an out of shape William T. Riker.
yeah. So what I was just saying, it's like, Carl, when next time you set up your camera angle, sorry, my mouse is, I'm losing track of where it is. When you set up your camera angle, shoot from like, you know, above the jeans. It's just the black would make it harder to see. Yeah. But now we've got a nice sort of muffin line going on there.
Even Davis O'Reilly manages better camera angles
than this one. This is so super not flattering. This is very not flattering. And I don't want to fat shame, but I actually thought Carl was slimming down for a while. But then I saw this and went, now I'm changing my mind. But anyway, that's a petty point. But I'm not above being slightly petty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's really like
let me just move the mic a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I think what he learned very quickly is that you can't do politics halfway. You can't have one foot in and have one foot out and think that you're not going to have your life completely unraveled in front of you in the public. And the way that they came for him, specifically when Brexit was announced, was like nothing I've ever seen or been through. And it certainly wasn't my intention for him to have to carry the brunt of it. Yeah. And he called me, he said he wanted to get out of the kitchen, was his exact words. And he just needed to, make sure that he could still be Kanye West outside of politics. And I think he's done that. And I always said I thought he was going to come back. And he's back.
Yeah. His New Year's tweets were remarkable.
Right.
And I think it's well worth talking about the one about the MAGA hats and how it allows him to be himself and means they can't control it.
Right.
What do you interpret him as meaning with that?
It's exactly true. So people ask me why I wear my MAGA hat through airports. To me, it's a symbol to liberals that they can't own me because of the color of my skin. I'm a free Black person. That's what the MAGA hat means to me. You can't.
I can just say as a white liberal, I'm not interested in owning Black people. I oppose human slavery. I think that the celebration of Southern rebel traitorous, the Confederates that left our union, and it's still being glamorized today, is anti-American. I think it's anti-patriotic. It goes against, because the South stands for slavery. So her accusations are basically, not based in fact. I think this is a kind of rhetoric to make her sound braver than she really is.
Didn't most of these Confederate monuments actually get enacted back when there were periods in American history where Black civil rights and the KKK were particularly prominent issues? Like, for instance, when the KKK experienced something of a revival when Birth of a Nation got released and shown to the White House.
Yeah, they're tied more. Those monuments are tied more to whites pushing back and instituting Jim Crow and stopping the advancements. Not, it wasn't meant to be a celebration. I mean, it's meant to be a symbol of oppression.
Yeah, I'd feel a little bit more respect to Confederate monuments if they'd been enacted, shortly after the American Civil War. But pretty much an overwhelming majority of these monuments
were built in the 1900s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right.
Also, this goes into the narrative that Blacks who vote for the Democratic Party are, back on the plantation, or they're being manipulated. And so this freedom that she gets through her putting on her MAGA hat is really just breaking through something that's in her own mind. It's not actually out in reality that Democrats are treating Blacks like that. I mean, in many ways, it's Black women who really made a lot of powerful influence with Democratic candidates in terms of their voting turnout and their activism in the last election. So if anything, the Democratic Party is having to increasingly acknowledge and embrace and give leadership positions to Black men and women within the party. And if you look at the incoming congressional freshman class, you compare what the faces on the Republican side look like, gray hair, white faces, to really a representation, and Christian. And then you compare that to who the Democrats elected, which were men and women of all different backgrounds, sexual orientation, life experiences, even religious backgrounds. They look like America. So again, basically she's saying, I'm identifying with a predominantly white male party to get my freedom. I mean, that's kind of an interesting take. That's how I see it. But Yeah, so we'll continue now and see if we can get to 5 minutes. We won't.
Can't tell me who I have to like, what I have to think, who I have to hate because of the color of my skin, and that's quite literally what the left has done, right? That's what.
No, just no, it's not. And Carl's like, yes. There's a pamphlet you get sent. Dear black person, here is a list of people. No, that's not what happens.
None of us are Charles Xavier. None of us. Come on.
But again, if she paints herself as being this, really going against the grain, she becomes a hero to white people who want to justify the Republican Party policies. Be like, well, look, Steve King can't be that racist if Candace Owens still wants to be a Republican.
Oh, do we have Senor Logan in the chat?
Oh, well, I did give him, he has a link to this in our message. In the chat. Hey, there you are. Hi, mate. Let me just take a... Hello. Hey, Kevin. Are you ready for a bit of Carl bashing? Or just mock... Actually, Candace,
absolutely.
too.
I'd just like to apologise because I read your message. You said 6 your time, and I just remembered 6.
That's okay.
How you doing?
I mean, I think I'm 40 minutes early, but I'm actually 20 minutes late.
No worries.
You're pulling a Carl on us, Kevin. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I had to go for a shit and a cup of tea, absolutely.
I think Carl could have gone for a really big shit and slimmed down before this interview, but he didn't. Maybe afterwards. He's having the tea now, so maybe he'll have the shit afterwards. Anyway, so we're trying to do this in 3-minute blocks, but so far we're averaging about a minute.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, and the pause word is objection.
Yeah, because I've been playing a lot of Ace Attorney, so Phoenix Wright is a big influence. So yeah, if we object to anything, objection. Okay. Yeah.
So here we go again.
What they've done, they've assigned a certain mentality to black people that black people cannot step outside of. I refuse to abide by those restrictions. And wearing the MAGA hat symbolizes freedom.
Restrictions that only she has in her head, by the way. Just pointing that out again.
Yeah.
Freedom for many black people who are starting to understand.
Well, Carl has certain objections, doesn't he? Because he seems to think that black people behave in a certain way.
Well, he also thinks that all their problems can be fixed if they just married people.
Well, from Carl's perspective, if only they behaved like white people.
Yeah. Yes.
And Trump is not the enemy that the media has created whatsoever. We're doing one.
John, just in case you have some of that ticking in the background, if you could mute yourself when you're not talking, that would probably reduce a lot of it. Just if you tap your screen, you should get that way to mute your mic, just so you know.
Wonderfully under this presidency, way better than we were doing under our first black president for 8 years. And it's time for us to sort of unleash.
I agree. Objection.
Why did you put first black president in quotation marks there?
Is she sort of like, is because he's biracial? Is she saying he's not?
No, I think it's because just like her hero Trump, they don't actually know how to use the English language very well.
Yeah.
Like, Trump does this where he'll put quotation marks around things that aren't quotations and aren't meant to be sort of hypothetical statements. Like he'll put Trump in quotation marks. What does he think? He's a hypothetical existence or what? I don't know.
Can I just say, actually, my dad does that too. He'll just randomly throw in quotes. And I'm just sitting there across the table, like looking at him going, why? Why that one? Why that word?
Fucking
but I can't.
White people, man.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, but nothing beats hamburgers. Did we see that one today?
Is this the Clemson thing?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Defending his white trash White House situation. Yeah, he said that he fed them hamburgers.
Okay, can I give you probably the real reason he ordered fast food in for those athletes?
Please
because of the shutdown, he's not able to use the catering, and so he had to pay for that out of his pocket. No, it's true. And people were asking, well, why didn't the president then use his own catering system from the Trump hotel that he has in the same city down the road? But no, that would have cost more than going through the drive-thru.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not good enough for those flips.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He served up $53 worth of shit on silver platters, literally. I mean,
yeah. Although, admittedly, in fairness to Trump, I do have weaknesses for McDonald's and the like. So yeah.
Yeah, but one of the players on Twitter was like, "I think our nutritionist is going nuts."
Yeah, but the season's over, so I mean, who cares?
Yeah. However, it just shows.
Plus, with you playing Gridiron, you're not going to remember it because you're going to have severe brain damage in a few years' time. So
I think
look
the
at it
thing
that
of
way.
it, it's just to me, it speaks of how cheap he is, and how cheaply he sees other people's value. I mean, that kind of meal, if especially he's doing it out of pocket, is an expression of his his admiration for their efforts. And what he said was, "You're worth about 2 Big Macs."
Yeah,
it's so, yeah.
Well, it does. It sums up the entirety of what America has become under Trump. Just this cheap, tacky, nasty shit.
Yeah, plated in
that you can't even spell correctly. Yeah. Fucking hell.
Oh. And it's insulting as well, because how much is a Big Mac? It's what free in British value. It's what £3.20 or something. So saying you're worth 2 Big Macs, you're worth just over £5 or $5. Yeah, that's fantastic. Really good complimentary advice there.
Yeah. Pretty much. Someone mentioned, please talk about how it's biological fact that Black people have been psychically communicating for thousands of years, and Candace had her hypothalamus surgically removed to be free. There we go. A slightly more fringe take there from the chat, but one that is noted in the record. All right, here we go.
Unleash our minds.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way that you frame all of this, because the democratic opinion is that Black people must be Democrats. It's very prescriptive.
Citation needed.
The sort of Turning Point USA position is you don't have to be a Democrat. It's liberating rather than confining. And it
telling people they don't have to be a Democrat. I mean, it's not saying you are a Democrat and we're letting you not be a Democrat. I don't understand his objection. Sorry, I'm interrupting too often.
Kanye is a very entertaining guy to watch, and this kind of almost like, I don't know, it's almost like innocence,
right?
Like this effervescent sort of energy is coming out of him,
right?
And you can tell that they're trying to keep it in. And I'm on the Kanye side. I'm just saying, go man, go! Don't let them stop you.
He won't ever be able to be contained. And I said that especially after the Brexit scandal happened. TMZ had asked me what happened, and I said Kanye will be back. He's Kanye West. You can't tell Kanye West what he has to think. Even if you can temper him for a couple of months, he'll be back. This is what he believes.
Objection.
He's always been that.
Go ahead.
They're trying to frame Kanye West's random outbursts of shittery as some profound thing. No one's saying he has to believe a thing. People are saying the thing you said, Kanye, is fucking stupid.
Yeah, repealing the 13th Amendment. That even if one were to grant his argument, that's all very well, Kanye, until you'd actually be in the actual situation of doing the things that Black people had to do in those days. So yeah, just good Lord, it really is one of the most stupid things of 2018, contrary to what Carl and Candace may think. Good Lord.
And it is the case that they're treating this as if he's being maligned because he decided to align with Donald Trump and not the things he said.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're skipping over all of that. Just like, oh my gosh, he came out publicly as a Republican and the heat was so much he had to take it, it was so bad. Like, well, no, he said some dumb stuff and he got blowback and he took a step back. And that's what really happened. It's not about like some leftist conspiracy to force him to be a Democrat or something.
No.
That person in the wild card in Hollywood, the person that couldn't be controlled, that never really conformed. And in so many ways, they told him that he couldn't like Kim Kardashian, so he married her. They told him he wasn't allowed into fashion, so he sold the most popular sneaker in the world. And this is because he doesn't like when people tell him what he can or cannot do. He doesn't.
Always the they, the mysterious they.
Like being confined. And I have that similar spirit, and I think Donald Trump has that similar spirit. Kanye calls it dragon energy.
Well, it's one of the things that attracts me to him, because I'm very...
Kevin, you've got competition.
Huh?
It's between you and Kanye, who he's attracted to.
Well, all I'll say is Kanye's not come onto the show. If he wants to come onto a happy hour, we'll have him on, and we'll bitch him out as well.
I'm just saying, well, you're probably more attainable for Carl than Kanye. So, because you at least
Probably.
live in the same country. Yeah, so.
Sensitive to that as well. As soon as someone says I can't do something, well, I'm afraid now I have to.
Right.
Like, you know, I wasn't going to, but you made me.
No. If someone says you can't do anything, you don't automatically have to resist that and do the opposite. That's basically saying you can be baited, Carl. What you've just admitted there is that anyone can bait you by telling you you can't do something, and then you'll go ahead and shoot yourself in the foot just to prove you can shoot yourself in the foot.
Exactly.
I don't have to climb this tree with rather fragile branches, but I totally am anyway, you know, regardless of the ridiculous.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, absolutely don't. Whatever you do, don't hold your breath until you die of asphyxiation. Don't do that. That
Challenge
would be terrible.
issued.
That would be morally unacceptable, Carl, for you to do that. So, you know.
Carl, don't do another video where you refer to people as the white N-word. Please don't do that. Come on.
Don't do that and tag UKIP in. Okay.
How I must.
But I love the way he comes across like a force of nature, really, especially when he was in the White House with Donald Trump in that quite famous press conference.
Yes, I can. I have to sometimes swap. Yes, I don't know if it's their volume or mine, but I can work on that. Hold on, I'll just do it physically rather than trying to do it on the computer.
Where is this, by the way? Where is this being filmed? Do we know?
I don't think we do.
Oh, okay.
So I'll move the speaker over, and this should hopefully improve things.
That the press didn't want to talk about.
Right.
I mean, he was just hitting all the right points, wasn't he?
He was, and I was fortunate that I met him right after that meeting. We met at a hotel, and just to feel that energy coming off of him, like he said the things that needed to be said. Yeah. And I don't even think he understands the significance of what he's done. I don't think he understands what it means. To me, it's the first real opportunity for Blacks to get off of this ideological slave ship, and that's because our attention has been seized culturally. Right. So people, sometimes you get these sort of Puritan conservatives, just it shouldn't be Kanye West talking about this. Forget it. OK, but you're not going to have a bunch of Black Americans Googling Dr. Thomas Sowell and watching his videos. Yeah. But they all pay attention when Kanye West says something like slavery is a choice. Yeah. And it's all about just cracking open the window, right, to perhaps a different perspective. And he's done that. And I will always honor and respect him because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was honestly, I think, one of the most important political events of 2018. Is Kanye West just hell for leather? I'm wearing this hat and you can't control me. And you can tell.
Time, mate. What was it? Fucking objection. Why is it that's one of the most important political events? Was some prick being used for a photo op in the Oval Office?
I can answer that.
Not Brexit, not any of the other really major things like Trump's shutting down the government and all that other stuff. No. Kanye being some musician doing celebrity things. Yeah, that's the most important political event. Sure.
I can explain this. It's because Carl has no sense of political reality. And so if it's important to him, then it's got to be big.
Yeah, well, yeah, he joined UKIP because not because of any claim to wanting to be politically active, but because, you know, of the lols, essentially.
Yeah. Well. Also, I think that what Carl's missing from that is that I think the most important political event of 2018 was Gamergate 2.0.
Definitely. We all know that. Come on, we all know that.
I presume he's doing that because he's being self-effacing. You don't want to big yourself up too much. Yes. He's throwing Kanye a bone, so to speak.
But you know that the real number one is him.
Yeah, because that went really well. Absolutely,
super well.
So there are definitely forces around him that wish to keep him. I don't want to say on the Democratic plantation, but I honestly can't think of a better way of putting it.
But that is it.
Exactly, Carl. Don't you say it. Let your token say it. That'd be much better for you.
Yeah. And this is it. It's not about actual policies that the Republicans have. You notice they haven't named a single policy. Oh, and they haven't named a policy that the Democrats they have a problem with. Kevin, by the way, I can tell you're not wearing headphones because I can hear myself.
Is that me?
Yeah, it's you.
God damn. Well, I was just going to say they have named the one policy they both care about, and that is that Trump annoys leftists. That's it.
That is. Yes, he's a troll, and that makes him worthy of running the U.S. government or in the executive branch. These idiots.
Just a shame that he's not able to, contrary to his claims, he's not able to actually really get rid of the Affordable Care Act, or because that's still mostly intact, and that those attempts to build that wall aren't going that well, and numerous other things that he keeps getting pushback from. But no, he's doing magnificently.
What's amazing to me is that they're sitting here, again, not talking about why people should be Republicans or vote for Trump because of policy. They're playing identity politics.
Yeah.
It's just identity politics here.
Well, I don't know if you saw, on a slightly related note, Milo Yiannopoulos wrote a thing for some appalling magazine about how the Muslims are taking over Britain or something. And literally the sub-headline for the article starts, "As a gay conservative."
Of course.
Because he opposes identity politics so much. Yeah, absolutely.
How does he still get work? Didn't his stock completely fall with the whole implied pedophilia?
I think that's right. He writes from marginal magazines and does his own podcast occasionally now. All right, so let's see if we can get through a minute.
I mean, of course it is. He's a freed slave, right? I mean, he's not even a freed slave. He's an escaped slave. They're not happy with that whatsoever. And look, it's not just Kanye West. It's all of us. I mean, Google any of our names, and people.
I'm sorry. I know we want to get through a minute, but I can't let that go by.
That is ridiculous.
An escaped slave.
Again,
you fucking pampered snowflake cuck. What are you talking about? Do you have any idea what an actual slave involves? What that is? Kanye West is a multi-millionaire idiot. The idea that he can be comparable to a slave is just disgusting. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
I would agree. And the fact, again, we're coming back onto this identity politics, and that by joining the party that has the most racists in it, you're somehow being more free than people who are in a party that are working for racial justice and other forms of justice.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever people say that, most black people vote for the Democrats, and that's true, and most Hispanics in America vote for the Democrats, you have to ask yourself why. Even if the Democrats are as shit as she says, which isn't actually true, but even if they were, why aren't if the Democrats are that crap, why aren't the Republicans hoovering up those votes? Is it because they constantly spew out anti-black, anti-Hispanic, anti-migrant, anti-low-wage employee rhetoric and or legislation?
Yeah, they basically...
People don't tend to want to vote for parties that openly come out and go, well, most of the people come from Mexico are fucking rapists. I think people of Mexican descent might go, actually, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, and Donald Trump has a long history of racist practices in his business and getting called out for it. So it's not like he's a champion of civil rights. Well, it's not like you look around his cabinet and it's filled with, a very diverse selection of Americans, potential and talent.
Yeah, well, this is the point I make when people say, racism in America is in the past. No, it isn't. The current president of the United States was twice sued by the federal government for racist letting practices in his apartments in New York. That's the current president right now as we speak.
So with a guy with that track record, you'd think that they would point to some sort of policy. Here's the reason why African Americans should vote for Trump, because here's something he's done that benefits our communities, and they can't point to anything. What, the Kavanaugh? The tax breaks for corporations and the rich? Estate tax transfers? Is this really like touching pressing issues in the African American community? With white people, those aren't pressing issues a lot of the times because you don't own enough estate to pass it on to benefit from the tax benefits.
Yeah. And sorry, go on.
And I'm almost certain that if you were to actually look at the actual statistics for rape that takes place in America, generally speaking, you're probably going to find that the overwhelming perpetrators of sexual violence and rape are going to be white men.
That's one because there's just more white men, so on a raw numbers. But what I looked this up and I was trying to find this stat the other day. What I found was that most sexual assaults, like other crimes, take place within an ethnic group. So if you're having somebody who's a serial killer and he's preying on his victims are white, the chances are he or she, but more likely he is also white. That's like a profiler thing. But I think we're getting a little off field So we'll come back to the discourse around we can't point out policies. We're just going to tell you that you're freer in the Republican Party than the Democratic Party, even though we can't prove it.
Yeah, well, I want to hear more of Candace Owens' fantastic ideas about how this multimillionaire should be viewed as a slave.
As an escaped slave.
Yeah, let's try and get to 8 minutes.
Optimistic.
Oh, it's not because you're conservative, it's because you support Trump. Well, then explain the treatment of Dr. Condoleezza Rice when she worked for George Bush, right? Explain the treatment of Dr. Ben Carson when he ran against Trump.
What treatment? They got more crap in the Republican side that I remember. Condoleezza Rice was criticized for her policies, but even Melania Trump is not shamed as much as Hillary Clinton was. When you compare what Democrats say about the First Lady and what Republicans, we're not. I mean, the worst I've seen Democrats do is pass around her pictures of her being naked. Republicans were passing around pictures of Michelle Obama as a gorilla.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only thing I've really seen on Melania Trump was a piece on Have I Got News for You, where they commented on the somewhat depressing nature of her Christmas decorations. But apart from that,
and with Ben Carson, I mean, other than the fact that he had really bad ideas, I don't remember any racist harassment of him. I mean,
excuse me, but bad ideas. The idea that the pyramids were used as grain storage after the Great Flood, please.
Yeah. Now,
that is ironically watertight thinking.
Absolutely. Now, here's an important caveat, though. I'm white, and I don't occupy Black Twitter. I mean, I have a couple of people I follow who are part of Black Twitter, and so I get little dips into it, and I see little bits of it. But I don't know what happens. Maybe in the African American community, these people got more blowback. But then again, that's not because it was the Black people were Democrats. That might just be, people in that community feeling like they can use certain language and criticisms that I, as a white person, don't feel like it's my place to.
Also, is she saying there that we shouldn't have listened to these Black people because she disagrees with them? So let's just ignore those Black people.
Well, she didn't say Black people. She just said they again. So I don't know if she's saying.
My point, yeah, exactly. But my point being, if we're surmising that the they she's referring to on this occasion is Black people, then surely their opinions on other Black people would be
valid.
Fine, yeah. So, but she's saying no, because these Black people disagree with me, therefore they're slaves.
Yes,
fuck off.
That is the reasoning. Yeah, that is the reasoning.
Seriously, in the conversation that we're watching here with Owens and fucking Benjamin, there are more people than brain cells in that room.
Between the two of them.
Yes. Yeah, I just.
It is because we're conservative. We have conservative ideas. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not because we support Trump. It's because we're not allowed to support anything that is not a liberal perspective.
I don't understand this oppression. Like, who doesn't let her do things? She keeps talking about the they, but basically what she's saying is people are disagreeing with her. I mean, that's the only thing that I can hear.
It must be pointed out that Kanye West actually isn't that conservative. He's just an idiot who thought Trump had dragon power and got publicity because of it, and so ran with it. But actually, if you look at the things he said, he's really not. Certainly, socially, he's not very conservative at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's also kind of shown a little bit of solidarity with the NFL player, if that's how you pronounce his name. So, he isn't entirely to the right. So, he has mixed positions.
And there isn't one conservative position. I mean, John Kasich expanded Medicaid expansion for Obamacare in his state, and he's a Republican. There are pro-choice Republicans. There are anti-death penalty Republicans. So what's she not being able to think?
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a very liberal Republican from what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Romney did the similar thing with healthcare in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So who are all these people saying she can't have positions that Republicans themselves have held? Who? It's all fantasy. It's all fantasy.
Well, the Koch brothers who are paying her wage are telling.
Oh, right. Yes, they tell her they are. Yes.
Which is ironic that she's literally being dictated to by two white men. Okay.
But she's free. Kevin.
But she's free. Everyone else is enslaved, apart from her and Kanye.
Yeah.
The actual African Americans who are running for office and getting elected and helping craft policy, they're the slaves, Kevin. They're the slaves.
Also, she's going on about Black politicians from the past. Well, she certainly fails to mention here that both Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell both spoke out vociferously against Trump.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
But
point.
those black opinions don't matter.
No, she didn't see
No.
those. You know, that's
No.
part of the slave discourse over there.
That's what it comes down to. We aren't free.
Yeah, and they want to take away your black card, effectively. Don't they?
I'm like, take it.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Like, you think I need a black card?
Yeah.
Like you need to tell me how to be black.
Yeah,
I've been doing it my whole life.
Well,
Yeah.
Carl wants to take my white black card away from her.
Well, he wants her black card so he can say the N-word. That's what he's
Yeah.
trying to do here. He's trying to do a swap or something. Like, oh, if you're not going to be needing it, can I use it to justify my use of racial slurs against black people?
Well, Carl, you can't have my white nibber card. It's not happening, mate. That's firmly in the wallet next to the credit card. Absolutely.
And pictures of Rory Katz.
And pictures of Rory Katz. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I don't need pictures of him because he's always there in my heart.
Aw. In your fuzzy fairy heart.
And the cut marks on my arms where he's scratched and bit me. That's always there as well.
It's a bizarre kind of cat love, but that's part of it. That's part of it.
That's what
Every
cats
day,
are
yeah.
for.
Pleasure and pain. Okay, getting on. We're gonna try to get to 8 minutes. We're still trying to get to 8 minutes.
We didn't even get to 6.5 minutes. Jesus Christ.
We were doing okay till you showed up, Kevin.
Yeah, I am.
I've just been black my whole life. I don't need to be told how to do it.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Trump's presidency so far?
He's been wonderful. He's been so wonderful. I mean, this isn't confined to America. This is a global presidency right now. Everyone's paying attention to what's happening in America, and they should be.
Yeah.
And they should know that the media is running an everyday aggressive campaign against a president that is loved and adored. You know.
Sorry,
Whoa! What planet is she on?
Yeah, he's getting attention, not for the right reasons. He's considered to be a ridiculous troublemaker who's threatening the safety of the free democratic world. He's massively isolating the people who are meant to be his allies. You know, the whole special relationship us in the UK are meant to have with the US, that seems to have fallen by the wayside. You know, and of course, there's been all the troubles he's had with the EU and with France and with Germany, and you know, his increasing coziness with Hungary as well, and the fact that the guy did next to jack all with regards to sanctioning Saudi Arabia when it came to the murder of.
Oh, I think you dropped out for Khashoggi there, John. So yeah, but yeah, good. The Khashoggi.
Well, I was just going to say, just to sum up John's point, people will watch a car crash, a tower. Yeah, a tower fire will get good ratings. Like, that's not a good thing, though, is it? People aren't watching that going, oh, this is fun. No, they're watching that going, what the fuck is going on there? And he's loved. The opinion polls suggest otherwise, Candace.
Yeah, his approval is now as low as it's ever been.
Yeah.
The Final Destination movies made plenty of money at the box office. It doesn't mean that they were necessarily good.
Well, let's see.
They made two Sharknado fucking films.
Sharknado! Oh, I'm so glad to be with fellow nerds. This is the greatest conversation ever.
Now, on that, let's actually review Trump's domestic policies. What has he actually accomplished? So he stacked a bunch of conservative judges on the courts that haven't done any decisions that have helped, you know, people in America that would warrant this, especially not the Black community. He passed massive, with the Republicans, they blew up the deficit by giving a bunch of tax breaks and other things to rich people and a little bit to the middle class and some to the poor. So he's increased the deficit. He's understaffed all of our agencies and people keep quitting on him. So the government isn't functioning. At the time this was recorded, he had shut down the government over a wall that he wanted funded but didn't put into his own budget. All right, so tell me, where are these successes, Candace? You can assert them and you can say he's loved, but where are the receipts? Where citation needed.
And relations with his own secret services are kind of toxic as well.
Oh, yeah. very much so.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were literally investigating whether he was working
for the Russians. Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing too.
Side.
His campaign manager handed polling data off to the Russians. His main attorney was trying to do the Moscow deal while he was running for president and paying off women he'd slept with. And those are just the ones we know about. So what do you, yeah, and also his approval ratings, even on the wall, like fewer than 40% of Americans want the wall. So his wall has gotten less popular over the course of his presidency. Candace Owen, like Carl, has no sense of political reality.
Yeah.
She can't look at things objectively.
Well, one thing he does, he's broken a record for the longest government shutdown in American history.
Yeah, and now there are lines of up to 2 hours in places like Atlanta just to get through security because TSA agents have been working now for a month without pay and they're calling in sick because why?
And there's trash piling up at national monuments around America, and not just the ones wearing red hats.
Yeah, so where are these successes? It's not hashtag winning, it's hashtag whining.
Christy, did you miss my joke there?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I?
You just not laugh? Yeah, I said there's trash piling up around national monuments and not just the ones that are wearing red hats. See?
Hey, bump. Sorry, I was thinking about my joke. I was just going to let you finish.
See, I don't need this on top of the fact that I'm whilst doing this, I'm watching with text, the text on my country's parliament ripping itself to pieces over an agreement that no one wants.
Yeah,
so, this is, in a way, this is sort of therapeutic to watch America be even shitter than my country.
Oh, we take refuge in your crises as well. So it's mutual, codependent, self-destructive relationships we've got going on.
Yeah, I think we need counselling.
I think we
definitely need counselling. This is not healthy for anyone.
No, is it covered by
it's incredibly healthy for Mr. Putin, but I mean, again, that's not healthy in general for humanity.
Yeah. All right. So yes, coming back onto how these people live in a complete sense, a state of denial about reality.
And except for these leftist trolls, these far left people who will stop at nothing to harm his presidency, the Russian collusion, non-collusion, Russian illusion, I like to call it.
Yeah. What the FBI are all far hardcore leftists? Is this what she's saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Pardon my potential ignorance, but does Candace hold an actual legal qualification? And indeed, considering that she calls it the Russian illusion, is she saying that she has hold of real ironclad evidence that exonerates Donald Trump? Because if she does, then she'd better provide it to the Mueller investigation as soon as possible. I think we'd all sleep a little better if we had the knowledge that actually arguably the most powerful leader in the democratic world isn't actually in bed with the Russians. So please, Candace, if you have the evidence that actually says that, it's a Russian illusion, then please, by all means, give us the evidence.
Well, to answer your question, John, as to whether she has legal experience, I don't think she does, because if she did, she'd know that non-payment of rent probably going to get you into legal trouble.
Oh, I've seen that on Twitter. I've seen that on Twitter. Yeah, she went after Cortez because she wasn't able to afford the rent in, where was it, Washington?
Washington, D.C., yes.
Washington, D.C. And then it turns out that Owens wasn't able to afford the rent in, where was it? Was it Connecticut?
Somewhere on the East Coast.
Somewhere considerably.
She'd not paid it and been taken to court for it. So,
Nice.
Oh, dear. Own goal.
Yeah. And on that, again, with this whole point that she's making about the Russian illusion, then why is Paul Manafort convicted? Why, did Michael Flynn say he was pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his interactions with the Russians? Again,
well, obviously, Christy, it's because they're all out to get him. You see? They're all out to get him. It's all part of a secret, shadowy thing, conspiracy.
Yeah, again, they're not naming names. They're not saying this person who is, this important person is criticizing me. They're just saying they. Anyone who criticizes Trump is ergo a hardcore far leftist, and there are not a lot of them. But then again, they're also running the government through the deep state. It's the typical right-wing doublethink and nonsense that's more based in their feelings and their desire of how they want to be victims than an accurate assessment of the political realities we're facing.
Exactly.
Okay, so with that, mic dropped.
And it's because he's finally saying the things that need to be said. Look, political correctness has been killing society. It certainly is an issue here in the UK.
Yeah, what we really need are more people yelling racist slurs at each other. That's what society really needs to make itself better.
Yeah, and on a related matter to political correctness, I found a rather good post on the UK Reddit, and where it says, "Does anyone else think political correctness has gone mad?" And this is actually really, really good. I know it sounds from the title not necessarily that good, but stick with it. I'm bloody sick and tired of today's namby-pamby snowflakes getting offended with every little thing. Back in my day, we could do things like call racists racist, make companies pay for their use of our national infrastructure via taxation, criticize policies that force the sick and disabled into homelessness, destitution, and suicide. Back in my day, we could build affordable housing. We could recognize everyone's right to housing, healthcare, and social security. Back in my day, we were allowed to call the super rich exploitative parasites, and we were allowed to significantly increase the minimum wage and improve workers' rights. Back in my day, we were allowed to give free school meals to children and lift children out of poverty and provide houses bigger than fucking shoe boxes and call white people committing acts of political violence terrorists. I mean, God, it's just political correctness gone mad. These snowflakes who are pursuing this political correctness agenda. Oh, no, wait, sorry, hang on. That's weird. It seems to be all the right-wingers who seem to be politically correct and screeching political correctness. Oh, how dare you offend my feelings by suggesting that there's stuff that I'm saying that sounds racist and looks racist and definitely is. How dare you suggest I'm a racist? Ugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think Candace is right. Here in Britain, we do have a problem with political correctness because the political party UKIP have stopped one of their activists, a guy called, let me check my notes, Carl Benjamin, from saying the N-word.
Free speech, free speech suppression by UKIP. Free speech suppression.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous. I mean, we invited him on. We invited him on our show. We said, "Carl, we're a free speech show. You say the N-word. Go for it, chap." And he wouldn't. He was scared, intimidated by these politically correct bullies in UKIP.
Oh,
Exactly. Well put, Kevin. I'm just going to play and let that'll be the last word on that segment.
In America, we almost lost the country. Donald Trump saved Western civilization, in my opinion. That's my viewpoint. He saved it.
Oh, by the way, I forgot one thing. His trade policy, his trade war has basically decimated the soybean farm commodity market in China, and it's now being taken over by Brazil and other countries. So it's not just a short term that they've gone from $16 a bushel, according to one farmer, to $8 a bushel. Those markets in China, they're not gone.
Christy, you're making a very good point there, but let's not bury the lead. She just said Donald Trump saved Western civilization. What?
Sorry.
What in the name of fuck is she talking about?
Well, but in fairness, Christy, if the soy production's going down, in theory, that's making less leftists and feminists.
Yeah, so, but how are InfoWars going to get there? How are InfoWars going to source their ingredients?
Oh, no.
Well, he's saving Western civilization by destroying the NATO alliance and aligning America with authoritarians and destroying the economy. Because he's trying to help Putin, who's the true white savior of the world.
Yep.
But she's not a white supremacist.
He's the last stand. I believe America is the last stand for Western civilization. If America falls, it's all over. And he is saying what needs to be said. He's telling us who the real enemies are. He's talking about,
yeah, like the free media and our independent government, public employees who are concerned about our national safety and the idea that our president might be an agent of Russia. And that's like, it's even worse than the Manchurian Candidate. It's even worse.
I still haven't seen that movie yet. I really need to.
I haven't seen it, but I read the wiki.
Did you know nearly 15 bushels in Manchuria as well?
How many?
Because that's a part of China. That's a joke.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Nice one.
bringing back capitalism and making sure that we conquer.
Bringing back capitalism? You mean bringing back deregulation of environmental controls that are polluting our waters and our air and our ground?
Bringing it back. Where did it go?
Yeah, exactly. Where did capitalism disappear to?
Eminem. It's not Eminem.
I've always felt that capitalism was an awfully hot coffee pot.
Yeah, it got dropped on Donald Trump. All right.
This socialist perspective that has seeped in to America via the universities.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, God.
All right, so the reality check, only like 25 to 30% of Americans go to university. And a lot of those people go for business or education. The amount of students at American universities, also just American residents. We have a lot of international students too. But this idea that socialism, how is socialism being introduced in the universities? It's just nonsense.
It isn't. That's the thing. It's not.
All these business schools that are teaching socialism?
Yeah, exactly. Harvard Business School is a hotbed for fucking Marxism, apparently.
Apparently, according to Candace here. So, all right.
And this cultural Marxist ideology.
Oh, God, she literally said it. She literally said it. Oh.
Kevin's out.
Oh, God.
Can we get a bingo card? Can we just get a bingo card here right now and just
right-wing talking points?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that cultural Marxism is the center square, but
it's a popular one. All right.
And he's not afraid to stand up.
Soros can't be the center.
Soros is the center square, right?
Yes.
And look Chuck and Nancy in the face and say, "We're going to build the wall," right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, because the wall that isn't going to actually do anything. $5 billion wasted is saving white civilization. Again,
you very good point, Christy. Well, let's not bury the lead. Smuckles.
Smuckly.
Yeah, I mean that was. If we just skip back like 2 seconds, classic Smuckle.
Yeah. Oh, before you showed up, Kevin, I did do some body critique of that. Just that this is not a good camera angle for Carl, especially not when
he's a fat prick. Yeah, absolutely.
You can say that.
I'm allowed to say that because I'm a fat prick too. So that's like this is me and Carl's version of the N-word. We're allowed to say it.
And I used to be 13 stone and a half. So well, that's not quite fat. It's moderately bad enough, So
yeah, that's about the weight of one of my tits. Yes.
I
don't know why I talk about that. I'm not actually.
No, you're not
obese or anything.
No, you're not.
Mean, exactly. I mean, and I've got a suit that fits me as well, which is good.
Yes.
I was actually talking to Christy before this, and I showed her. I am actually wearing a suit jacket in honor of this occasion, just because I've just come off work. So
does it fit you really badly?
I got it relatively recently from Debenhams, so it's not the best suit, but I mean it fits.
But do you have the diaper baggy trouser part to go with it?
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, you've let me down then. Clearly, this doesn't honor him in any way. If in many cases, this in the face of Carl's fantastic suit antics by wearing a suit that fits, sort of.
I would just recommend Queer Eye. I think he could do with watching a few episodes of Queer Eye because they would teach him to wear the shirt sort of down and maybe or do a French tuck. A French tuck is where you tuck it in and then you pull out more than you normally would in a tighter tuck, so it hangs looser, and that way you wouldn't get that muffin showing. You wouldn't get the shadows off the muffin there, Carl.
Just lose some fucking weight.
Or wear a shirt.
I'm not saying he's bad, but I mean he sat on a rowing machine and it fucking sank.
Yeah. But yeah, don't worry, Kevin. Next time I get to do a stream with one of you guys, I'll be sure to wear a suit that's considerably less flattering. So don't worry. But you're meant to be our king, so where's your royal garb?
Anyway, can we try and get through some of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so since you've segued nicely into it, the Democrats seem to be in a terrible position at the moment. I mean,
What? No. What is he talking about? Sorry. I'm going to have to interrupt there just to say a little reality check, right? The most recent polling, and this isn't different from polling before, shows that more than half of Americans don't think the Democrats are to blame in the shutdown. And they also blame Trump and the Republicans by like a majority, like over half.
And even, and the only opinion poll that ultimately matters is the election, and they retook the House.
Yes, yeah, Nancy Pelosi had a historic victory.
Yeah, I was going to jump in to kind of repeat the same point that Kevin did, because I mean, over here in the UK, as a Labour supporter, I do find it continuously tedious
communist.
Yeah. But what can I say? Senor Corbyn's just an absolute dream. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. I always find it really tiring when people are saying, "Oh, look at the fact that the Conservatives are 1 or 2 points ahead," or "Oh, Labour are only 3 points ahead. This means that Corbyn is totally useless for Labour." It's like, no, the only polls that actually are going to matter are the ones during the election. You know, back in the day when Ed Miliband was leader, he was regularly polling 10 points above David Cameron, but it didn't matter when it came to the election. He ended up getting...
And on this one, sorry, I'm just going to cut you off because otherwise this is going to go over. So I think you made your point on that, and I'm going to cut off Kevin too if he goes too long. But yeah, in terms of like just bringing it back to the thing here and political assessment of the Democrats are now doing investigations. They're going to be pulling up his former attorney to speak in front of Congress, and they just won the House, and they've got a chance to pick up more seats in the Senate going forward. So again, just don't ever listen to Carl's political assessments. He literally has no idea what he's talking about. He can't filter anything through the lens of his own bias. So, all right, so let's try to get through this, as Kevin points out, because we're only 7 minutes in. And if we want to try to do the whole thing, otherwise we're going to have to cut it off because we've been going already for an hour. So I don't want to go this like 4 hours. Absolutely not. So let's roll.
Who are your thoughts on who they're going to run in 2020?
Look, well, we just saw Elizabeth Warren, who is Hillary Clinton 2.0. I mean, she's actually worse. Watching her drink that beer was extremely uncomfortable for everybody. Okay, no one should have had to see that.
But it would be nice to have a Native American president.
It would be one.
Oh yeah, this is their big policy insights. Yes, finally they named one thing.
She's worse than the person you thought was a traitor because she drank a beer.
Yes, that's her main objection. Okay. That's why she needs to be liberated. All right.
A Native American president. I mean, we're all looking forward to this, but this is who they have, right? It's gonna be Nancy and Elizabeth Warren types, and these are the only people that they have to put forth. People that
wait, does she not know the name of any of the other potential? Is that she going for Nancy Pelosi because she can't think of like Cory Booker or Joe Biden or? Well,
she is talking to Carl, who could only name Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of the millions of Democrats who were far leftists who'd taken over the party. So actually, she named double the number of people Carl could.
At least they're both Democrats, but Nancy Pelosi's not running for president. Oh my God. Oh.
Like to pretend that they're for the people. These people haven't even touched their own door handles. The idea of them trying to relate to people is taking public transportation and having it filmed.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
again, citation needed. What the hell is she talking about?
Donald Trump flies a fucking plane with his name on the side of it in 20-foot high letters. Don't pretend he's a man of the people.
Yeah, true. Very true. Very true.
He lives in a skyscraper that's gold plated in the center of Manhattan.
Hashtag man of the people.
I mean, exactly, yeah. A working class hero. Absolutely.
Touch.
Why don't they do a live stream with a beer?
Right. Yeah, and wave while you're on the train that you haven't taken in decades.
They've got to sell it like Kavanaugh. You know?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I think that they will run Beto, and he represents a bigger threat because he is at least appealing to the youth, and people like Andrew Gillum, who I think is like Obama 2.0.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Candace, you could name more than two. You're really blowing Carl out of the water here. Wow. She's really blowing him out of the water with knowing names.
Also, I noticed that Carl's left-handed, so we need to burn him at the stake.
He is conservative. He's regressive. He wants to take us all the way back. So,
but I'm not concerned. I don't think any of these people will have what it takes to defeat Trump. And if they were smart, they wouldn't run Beto in 2020. They would wait until 2024.
Right, okay. I think that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Because it's wrong. But, you know, whatever. We'll move on.
But they're not smart. So.
No, they're not. They're not.
So, sorry, just and that's a description of this video right there.
Yeah,
not
well,
smart.
basically, when they both said that and nodded at each other, I imagine the galaxy brain memes,
Yes.
but there's two of them in the room.
Mind blown. Okay.
Oh, they're so wildly corrupt.
Right.
They're wildly corrupt. Wait. The emoluments clause violations by Trump, all of the corruption, Zinicky, whatever that his guy. There's so many guys who've been thrown out for being corrupt now. I can't remember all of their names, but the Dems are corrupt. What the hell is he talking about?
Stones, glass houses.
Yeah, it's projection again. It's not reality. Trump's corrupt, so the Democrats must be corrupt.
And then this is the thing. Too many snouts in the trough, as we would say over here. People who are invested in the mechanics of the party and use that to get to their positions, which is...
What is he talking about? I have no idea what that has to do with running for president. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think he's just lost the plot, so now words are coming out, and he's going to try to transition to something that actually makes sense.
Why Hillary was ever a candidate for anything.
Right. I mean, you're talking about the political dynasties and
So dynasties are families. If you have two people who are married, that's not a dynasty. And she won her Senate election, and she was appointed Secretary of State. Anyway, sorry.
The fact that she got so far, given her past and her corruption, is disturbing.
Does America need another Clinton or another Bush?
No.
But what we need is another Trump. Sorry.
We do not. We're all good. If you guys would like one, we can spare you.
No, God. So let's talk about how Trump is winning over the sort of hearts and minds in the black community.
Right.
Because after Kanye endorsed him, there was a demonstrable spike in young black men supporting Trump, which goes to show you
sorry, citation needed. Where's this polling data?
I was literally about to ask the residents.
He saw two black people on 4chan.
Yes. That's true. That's probably what it is. I saw some people on Twitter. It's like his theory that after Hillary said something about the KKK, a bunch of black people wanted to join the KKK because he saw it on Twitter. This is probably very similar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he had a conversation with some black guy and that guy too.
They watched the Dave Chappelle sketch Act.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Sorry. I'll check it out.
Black, white.
Okay. You broke up a little bit there. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, the Dave Chappelle sketch, the Black, White Nationalists, which I highly recommend you check out because it is rather funny.
Okay, so recommendation to the chat there. Go check that out. But not now. Keep watching us.
The influence that celebrities have, and I think that they do. And I mean, it's very easy, and I'm sure I've said it myself. Celebrities should never get involved in politics because generally they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. Well, there's a difference though, and there's something that
wasn't this supposed to be a policy discussion?
No.
I'm just.
Yeah.
I have to make clear because people say to me, "Didn't you do a video on PragerU saying, dear celebrities, no one cares what you think?"
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a huge difference in terms of celebrity getting on stage telling you that you must, fight Trump at every cause and that Trump is the enemy and Trump is literally Hitler and using their platform to spew hate. You've never heard Kanye West.
Hang on, whoa. What are you talking about? There's no difference at all. They're giving their political opinion and you told them to shut up. But once someone agrees with you, then it's, celebrities are awesome. Yeah, wonderful. You're a fucking hypocrite, Candace, and everyone can see it.
That's basically what, she's saying. When you're saying your stuff, and I'm saying, here's what I think people should do. Here's what we must do as a moral obligation. That's slavery. But when Republicans say it, that's freedom.
Yeah.
About Hillary Clinton, ever.
No,
he doesn't tell people that they can't be Democrats. He just says, I love Trump.
Yeah.
If celebrities came out and said, oh, I love Hillary, I wouldn't care. But it's them telling us what we have to think, who we have to hate. It's
sorry. Again, just stupid alert here. No citations at all. Just herd delusions.
Yeah, who's saying you can't?
Yeah, name names. Who?
Concept of hate that they're completely seized by, and that's frustrating. For celebrities has to be like, I don't care. They can like certain people, they can endorse certain people, but the fact that they try to tell us that we are not allowed to like certain people or else, and then they tell us that we're racist or we're sexist. You've never seen Kanye do any of that stuff.
What? If you don't do this, you're racist? If you don't hate this person, it's word salad.
She's
sorry.
talking shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
His is purely a message of love. I love my president. any celebrity could say that, and I wouldn't mind. I don't mind when celebrities love.
And repeal the 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
He's kind of leaving that part out and the other controversial things he's done. So yeah.
Hillary Clinton, I think it's foolish, but if they love her, they love her. I think it's weird. It's weird, but if they love her, they love her. And I think that that's something that people need to realize, that Kanye is doing something that actually hasn't been done. He hasn't told you to vote for Trump in 2020.
He's just saying he's going.
He likes Trump.
And that's such a big deal. Don't tell people to vote. Don't tell people to vote for the candidate you support. Just say, I'm going to vote for this person, because they believe in free speech, you guys. Yeah, they totally believe in free speech.
Also, he hasn't said that you should vote for him in 2020 because he hasn't even announced he's running.
Yeah, he might not. He might be impeached and in the 20s in his approval rating by then.
He's going to run in 2020, but it's around the prison courtyard.
Nice.
He didn't even vote for Trump. He just says he likes Trump.
Did he?
He didn't vote for him. No.
Okay,
What? What? Is he not free? What? I thought he was free, you guys. And he's not being free because he didn't vote for Trump. Isn't that her logic? If you're not a Republican and you're black, you're not free. So.
No, I mean, I'm not like an expert on rap music or anything, but I thought Donald Trump was kind of popular.
No, Carl, don't talk yourself down, Carl. You are one of the OGs of rap critique.
What?
Right. He is officially he's an honorary member of the Nibbers with Attitude.
God. Now I've just got in my head the image of a Sargon rap album, and that's positively brain bleach. Jesus Christ!
He's coming straight out of Swindon. Okay, that's the way he rolls.
Straight out of Swindon. All right. No, this is going to be fascinating for me because, of course, now what I've realized, especially over the course of this, is that everything goes through a Carl distortion filter. So I'm fascinated to hear how Carl distorts his perception of rap artists' relationship to Trump, considering Trump's racist past. So, yeah, this is going to be fascinating.
This is going to be amazing. This is going to be, he's going to come out and say, oh, well, I reckon Public Enemy would love him. Or something. It's going to be something really mental.
Oh, we could only hope.
Beyond popular.
It's going to be it's going to be something mental, isn't it? It's going to be Little Wayne should be Minister for Housing or something. It's going to be fucking crazy.
So let's see what brilliant insights Carl's gleaned from his observations of the rap community. This is going to be fascinating.
Wanted to be like Trump. Are you kidding me? Trump was the goal. I mean, Obama has a quote saying that.
Oh, all right. Okay, they're making a reference to the fact that Trump name comes up in rap music. I think that's what he means, and it is the case because it's sort of seen as crass consumerism, and also it should be noted that Grey Poupon is a phrase that comes up a lot in rap music. So just because a word comes up in rap music doesn't mean it's an endorsement. Not all rappers eat Grey Poupon because they rhyme with Grey Poupon.
Yeah, and bitches and hoes come up regularly as well. So
yes.
I mean, and of course, if Donald Trump comes up in the song "Fuck Donald Trump" as well, so, I mean,
then Carl will be like, "See, they're saying his name."
Exactly. This is brilliant. I mean, they're literally saying he's like the worst person possible for this job, but the only thing worse than being talked about, hey, Christy, come on now.
Yeah, exactly. As the worst person in the world, I would know.
You would.
Hey, the idea of the American dream is that everybody wants to be like Donald Trump. Yes, exactly right.
So
that's an amazing. I didn't realize Obama was in the room. Then did you hear that? That was a fantastic impersonation.
What?
She did a voice there of Barack Obama, didn't she?
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Dreadful. Well, it was so bad you didn't even realize she was doing.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Like there aren't more rappers who are just like, you know what, I do like Donald Trump.
There's an underground.
Again, just because you rhyme something in a verse in a bar doesn't mean it's an endorsement.
Also, I love that it's an underground. Yeah, you two. I imagine you two are forever frequenting underground rap bars, aren't you? You fucking idiots.
You really think rappers are admiring Trump after he said both sides had good people on them after Nazis were marching in Charlottesville? It's just idiocy. This is just idiocy. It's amazing, though. It's so entertaining.
Ecosystem of rappers, right? And I know them, and I should call them out, that fully support Trump. The ones that are the most successful and entrepreneurs, and have made something of themselves, support Trump, but they do so quietly.
No, they don't. That's a lie. There have been loads that have come out publicly and said actually he's a prick. loads of the most successful entrepreneurs, blah, 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 blah. And again, the fact that you don't call it out is because they don't exist, Candace. You're a liar.
Yeah, because, you know, she talks to all the big rappers.
She does, yeah. Yeah, there's...
she's hanging with Beyonce and yeah, she's, you know, she's at the Grammys every year. John, did you want to pop in?
Yeah, just I think I possibly had some signal issues there.
You mean from my side?
No, I think from my side, 'cause I think I went into an area which had
okay.
terrible Wi-Fi reception. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yep.
Are you traveling?
I'm currently, I was using an internet cafe before, but now I'm in a pub.
Yeah, it's much louder in the background, so you're definitely going to have to mute yourself.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's something that's very condescending about that they almost feel that their audience is too stupid.
Right.
Like, it's not worth going through the headache of explaining to you guys why I support Trump, because you guys are stupid. That's what these rappers really think of their audiences.
Yeah.
And what I always say is, it's not.
Carl's like, yeah,
So
of course they do.
Well, and not just that, but are you saying, therefore, that the people who support Donald Trump think so lowly of their fan base that they think they're all stupid and therefore they're garbage themselves?
And they're not worth explaining their political positions to their audience because their audience is too stupid. That's what Candace is saying. Apparently, all the nap rappers she's talking to, this is what they say.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, she's literally saying the rappers I know that support Donald Trump are garbage. Who are condescending towards their audience. Okay.
Yep.
They don't sound like role models.
Yeah, but it's a secret knowledge. You see, they're part of this insider woke community within the black. You know, that's what she's trying to portray here. You know,
Yeah.
and then also it's so scary to be a conservative in public. Whatever.
Not so much the left thinks we're stupid. The problem is that we've been proving them right for so long. That's what I say to the black community, right? They think we're stupid.
Hang on.
Oops.
Did I just catch the left thinks we're stupid, and I might have misheard that. Did she just say the left thinks we're stupid and we've been proving them right?
No, I don't.
Or did I hear that?
No. But she was saying that the left thinks we're stupid. No, left-wing people don't think black people are stupid. They think you're stupid.
Yeah, because it's based on your behavior, like the things you say. It's not because of their skin color. It's because when you say things that are clearly demonstrably incorrect, it makes me question your judgment and your perception of reality.
That's a great still, by the way.
That is it's not as good as some of the Jeff Holiday stops we had, but it is probably the most memorable of the night.
Been proving them right. Hillary Clinton came out with hot sauce, and said that she had hot sauce in her bag to get the black vote.
No, she didn't. It's a reference to a Beyonce song. Oh my gosh, it's a joke. Wow. She's really interesting interpretations of things, I'll just say.
And we gave it to her, right? And we gave it to her.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to do that to get the black. Oh, God.
And 89% of the black.
Oh, yeah, John, can you mute yourself? Sorry, it's a lot of scratching and background noise.
Why are you doing this in a pub? What the fuck?
Imagine if, I don't know, just some politician came out, I've brought tea to get the English.
Yeah, I love tea.
Yeah, sure you do, Elizabeth Warren.
Well, sorry, politicians do that kind of relatable stuff all the time, like sharing their playlists. So, again, not based on reality.
Yeah, he's a member of UKIP, and one of Nigel Farage's great memes was standing in a pub with a fag.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean a cigarette. That's a British slang expression. Yeah.
Versus Jim, he literally said, "Oh, politicians lie all the time," as his justification when Jim was saying who would vote for a politician who lies all the time, and Sargon actually literally responded, "But all politicians lie," and he also would go on to say, all politicians are retards. So, yeah, Sargon's fucking weird.
Well, he fits whatever the situation is. He doesn't have consistent core principles. He just shapes himself to his speaker and his audience, and that's why he's not morally consistent, because he doesn't have any clear ideas. But yeah, let's continue, because we're only 12 minutes in. I don't think we're going to do the whole thing, so we might want to hit like 15 minutes and then call it a night.
But this is the thing, and I've always found it really perplexing, because yeah, you see the sort of veneration of Trump as a successful entrepreneur, businessman, billionaire, and then he becomes president. And
Racist.
And it's just
Spam.
like, I can't believe that the Democrat stranglehold over the black imagination was strong enough to overcome that. Because if I was a rapper, I'd be thinking, that's my boy. I'd be in exactly Kanye's position.
And some of them are like that. Lil Wayne has never once said anything towards Mayweather.
That's my boy.
Stop your cultural appropriation. Use British terms, Carl. Stop. If you want to be a British nationalist, use British slang. Don't be taking American slang.
Well, not just that, but he is the whitest person ever.
Yeah. Yes.
Who's been like, I like Trump, and they don't get too much flack for it, but it's been sort of jarring to see that the majority of them were able to just switch, and to me it just shows that they're bots, they're program bots, and that's why I've lost so much respect for the hip hop community, because it's like people are behind you because you're supposed to be pioneering.
She used to have mad love for the hip hop community, but now she thinks they're whack. Clearly, those are my two of hip hop knowledge there. Those two words.
Yeah, good.
Individualism, and that you can overcome things, and it's okay to just be you, right? But then you all cower. And you show that you don't have a thought process. You're not an individual. You've just been collectivized, and you're owned. And you love him.
Owned by the Koch brothers. Shut up. Everything you say is because they've told you to say it.
Basically,
you are a wholly owned subsidiary of fucking Koch Industries, so fuck off.
If you're a black person, according to Candace, who supports the Democrats, you're brainwashed, and it's just her shtick over and over again. It's not based on any policies. She's not saying Trump's done this and that. He's accomplished these things. It's ideological identity politics.
Yeah.
So I
was just going to say also. Yeah, go on, John.
Yeah, she hasn't actually identified a single policy of Donald Trump's yet at all during this entire conversation.
Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's ironic that she's going on about other people being bots when these two are literally just spewing the same ideological shit they always do.
Exactly. They're not saying,
nonsense.
Koch brother talking points.
Yeah.
Songs, and now you realize he's racist. Like, come on, guys.
How do you perform that song now?
Yeah, exactly. How do you perform that song? How do you account for all of these pictures of him hugged up with so many rappers and entertainers, and they're all at his parties, and everybody loves Trump, and then they go, oh no, now I can't love you because I'll lose sales. It's for sales. They don't really.
Yeah, because he started saying really high-profile racist things. Now he's always been a low-key racist, but now he's come out and literally just gone, oh yeah, well, Mexicans are rapists and murderers. I assume some of them are good people. Like at that point, you're going to go, yeah, actually, I'm stepping back from this motherfucker.
Also, every person that you meet for the first time at a party and have a picture taken with them, that means you endorse everything they do and think, and you want to be just like them. Come on. I mean, you're taking shots at a party with celebrities, and Trump's there doing the same thing. So it doesn't mean that they admire him. It means that they're with another famous person, It's so ridiculous.
Actually thought the president of the United States was literally Hitler. We would literally be doing what the Jews were doing as Hitler came to the rise, which is trying to get the hell out of the country. Okay? We would all be trying to get the hell out of the country. No one's leaving. All of the celebrities, they didn't move to Canada. Nobody moved, nobody left, because nobody actually thinks Trump is Hitler whatsoever. They just are upset they didn't get what they wanted.
Exactly, and that's the point. No one was saying he's literally Hitler, meaning literally. It's that the word literally has become not literal. Ironically.
Yes. In its current use, it's actually meant to be like, as you said, ironic almost.
Narrative. And one thing I love about it is, where are you going to go? Oh, the only country whiter than America.
Right. I know.
You're not moving to Mexico, are you?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. Why aren't you going to Mexico? This is so. I mean, shouldn't we just be swapping? Yeah. You want open borders, but you go to Mexico, and we'll take some of the people that are coming, trying to get in.
No one wants open borders, or very few. There are anarchists, obviously, but the vast majority of people don't want open borders. That's just such a lie of a talking point.
Also, of course.
Oh, go ahead, John.
Yeah, and also, of course, the fact that it's basic finances. Not everyone has, even if you have people who want to be able to relocate, how many people actually have the financial capability and practicality to be able to move? People have family, people have jobs,
Also, it's a matter of language, surely. They speak English in Canada. Well, they speak French as well, but they speak English everywhere. and most Americans speak English, but obviously not everyone speaks Spanish. So.
Kevin, stop thinking. Stop being rational and logical about this. Also, and they don't mention this, is that the largest group of people who are in the U.S., overstaying their visas are Canadians. But we don't see big roundups of Canadians and shipping over, up north, do we? Nope, because it's hard to racially profile Canadians.
Yeah, take their cap.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because Canadians are.
They're among us.
I'm not saying they're the next Al Qaeda, but just keep an eye on them. That's what I'll say.
They invented Celine Dion, the dangerous.
Yeah,
well, they gave us. Yeah, they gave us Celine Dion.
Exactly.
So, what are your thoughts on the government shutdown?
Love.
Specifically over the wall, because let me set up quickly, because like this, I find the very issue to be maddening.
Now, remember, Trump didn't ask for this money in his budget, and he also agreed to the deal that was passed by the Republican-controlled Senate. And then at the last minute, he blew it up because Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh said this is his last chance to have his wall. So now he's demanding $5 billion, which he didn't ask for in his budget. So let's see what Carl's take is on this.
From both perspectives, like there's nothing immoral about a wall.
Nope.
A wall can't discriminate. It's not in any way a statement of intent against any particular race or gender or whatever.
Yeah, well, there we go. Hang on. Yes, it is. He starts off with a wall can't be immoral. Well, yeah, obviously no one's saying concrete and steel can be immoral, obviously.
Right,
ridiculous. But obviously it is a sign of intent. Who are you trying to stop through the southern border? Fucking Australians? No.
Yeah, we're not building a wall with Canada.
Hispanic people.
Exactly. We don't. Yeah, not building a wall near Canada. So it's exclusively
which you should be doing, because they're the next Al Qaeda. So.
With all their friendliness.
And most of the migration, the illegal immigration from Mexico, isn't even anything to do with walls. It's actually by air.
And the humanitarian crisis that Trump says exists, and there is a crisis in terms of a lack of processing, but those people are applying at legal ports of entry for asylum. They're not coming across the border legally. And so a wall won't stop people who can legally claim asylum from appearing at the border and applying. The wall won't change that.
Yeah, you say it's a humanitarian crisis, and I think that's certain truth to that. But I like the idea that it's a national emergency, but I'm not going to say it's a national emergency just yet.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
If without urgency, it's not an emergency.
See, Lindsey Graham was just trying to appease the toddler in him, right? He was saying, let's open the government for 3 months. You do your national emergency, which I know won't go anywhere because the courts will stop you because they've stopped you before. And then we can, reset this. And Trump went, I won't get my wall if I do this. So no. That's what really happened.
If you're going to declare a national emergency, at least do it for something worthwhile. Like, the oceans are rising because of climate change. Declare a national emergency and make it so that companies are forced to get things so that they're actually environmentally friendly, so that we won't all die in 12 years.
Right, but what Trump really wants to do is take money that wasn't actually appropriated for his wall and steal it without congressional approval, which is kind of like the Queen spending the taxpayers' money without consulting Parliament. You can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, but of course, there's the simple fact that, a wall's good and all, but a wall's not exactly going to help if the air you are attempting to breathe and the food supplies you might want to have no longer exist because, the world's become fucked because of climate change.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah. So, Kevin, did you have a point you wanted to make, and then we'll go on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So right now if you guys are okay to keep going, I guess I can keep going. I forget that we didn't start at 9 o'clock. We started at 6, so it's much earlier my time. I don't have to worry about bed. So I can actually go a little bit longer if you guys have nothing better to do. Okay.
Perfectly fine.
All right, then I'll hit play.
And $5 billion is a lot of money, but then when you put it in perspective of what the Democrats are asking for,
what we give money to in aid, we give $10 billion in aid to South America.
Okay, just to point out here, that the Democrats are objecting to spending the money not because it's on border security. They're happy to negotiate different and more effective means of border security, but a big concrete wall is what Trump wants, and that won't have the effect he promises. That's their objection. It's a waste of money that could be better spent.
Oh, that was it. I was gonna say that when Carl said, and she stopped, what do you think of the wall? And she said, love.
Yeah.
Straight away, instantly, she loves it. Oh, for
Oh no, I thought it was
a
a shutdown.
piece of shit.
I thought it was a shutdown that she said that too.
Oh, the shutdown. Sorry,
Yeah.
Apologies.
Yes. So of course she's in Trump world, so she can't think straight either.
800,000 people going without pay. She loves that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So what are we even talking about?
And then you've got Cortez asking for 42 trillion or something ridiculous, and then they'll tell you it's wasteful money spent on the wall.
It's absolutely nothing.
And the thing is, the alternative.
It's wasteful on the wall because it's not effective, Carl. You keep leaving that part out. Just noting.
Yeah. Like the other side of the argument is the wall won't be as effective as people want it to be. Okay, sure, that's true. Nothing's going to be as effective as you'd like.
But it'll be very effective.
It will be effective against the people who aren't prepared for it, and the people who are prepared for it face a barrier that they have to then. It's an extra level of protection.
Correct.
Does he know there's already 700 plus miles of wall in the vulnerable crossing areas along the U.S.-Mexico border?
Yeah.
And that's part of the objection, is that we have walls where it's appropriate?
Well, what I loved about the Laura Loomer protest, you see, she broke into the grounds of.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that in the happy hour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. She tried to prove how much they needed the wall by proving how ineffective walls are at keeping people out of territory that they're not supposed to be in.
Oh,
it's an interesting approach. I'll give you that. I mean, you're hoping that everyone's a surrealist and will love the juxtaposition there, but I don't think that's quite the case.
Yeah, only slightly more effective than her Twitter checkmark protest.
And I love the fact. Usually, I'd cry about not cry about, but I'd go on about white privilege that they didn't arrest her. But actually, they should never arrest her because she wants to be arrested so badly.
I think they're purposely. Yeah,
just don't.
Agreed.
Correct.
And it might not be the most effective use of money, but the point is it's a statement.
Yeah.
He wants to waste $5 billion of U.S. taxpayer money on a Trump statement.
So it's a statement. So basically, you think it's not going to be effective, but it's a statement. So
you're
literally going feels over
idiot,
facts.
Carl. You're an idiot, Carl.
You're going feels over facts on this one. Okay, cool. Good
$5 billion on a statement of taxpayer money. You call yourself a classical liberal. You are,
and of course, it's taxes that he doesn't have to pay. He's spending other people's tax money on this.
Yes, so of course he'll spend it. Oh my God. Okay, while we're talking about the mechanics of the wall, I know it won't happen, but the fact is Carl actually thinks it's a good idea, and we're explaining how dumb he is. That's the point of this show.
Yeah.
That America is going to be taking its border security seriously. It's going to be taking illegal immigration
But it's not just a state.
So we're going to waste money on something that won't stop people to show how seriously we're taking this issue.
Yeah.
This is how he thinks. This is how he thinks. He's an idiot. Oh my God.
I mean, either it actually has
what they should also do then is get a massive projector and just put the bat signal in the air. Because I mean, it's a big statement that will be ineffective and that will prove that they're taking it seriously.
Oh, but it would have to be for Trump.
Or alternatively, when you have the Mexicans at the border, what you should actually do is have a series of big screens and have them all be playing the movie Pixels. Once any Mexicans approaching see that, then they'll be like, yeah, actually, I don't think we want to enter this country anymore. not if they're creating anything as atrocious as Pixels. That would be a super effective means of keeping Mexicans out.
It would be a big statement. Yeah.
They built miles of the wall, and they've been able to actually show the decrease in having illegal immigration at those points.
No, economic factors like the U.S., the global recession actually had a bigger impact than people. The net flow is actually higher now than it was in the past. More people are leaving than did before, and immigration rates are down. So again, just no.
So it's tremendously effective. It also is a statement that says we're taking this seriously now, and this is not a joke. We're not going to allow the Democrats to usher people over the border for votes because they're looking at them and they're realizing that they could potentially be losing the Black community. So now they need new voter mules, as they like to call it.
Okay, that's just nonsense. Like, that is literally tinfoil hat nonsense because people who come in the country can't vote, and there's no systematic evidence anywhere except of Republicans doing voter fraud of sort of people who are not on the rolls voting. She is just talking from La La Land here.
And also, when she says, "Oh, they're in danger of losing the black vote," on what basis?
Yeah. No, I don't know what she's talking about there.
Not by any policy.
Yeah, I mean, is there any polling data available in the midterm elections with regards to racial votes, Christy?
Oh yeah, it was massive. I mean, the African American vote and especially Black women are the biggest, highest rate of Democratic vote providers. In terms of they support the party at the most extraordinary rates.
Communists.
Yeah, because there's issues of choice and there's issues of justice and economic issues that the party speaks to, and what they're still not doing is talking about policies. So other than the policy of wasting $5 billion on a statement for Trump.
What roughly is the ratio of Black voters with regards to Democrats
plus
versus
90%,
Republicans?
plus 90%,
plus 90. Yikes!
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, it can go into the 80s. Like I think Reagan and some other people got into the 80s, but it's a core constituency, definitely.
Plus the white community, haven't they?
That's correct. So they no longer have that guarantee of a vote, and if they can get illegals over and get them to vote illegally, then they're fine.
No evidence for that. Candace is making stuff up.
But I mean, look, I am obviously pro shutdown. People ask me what I think about the wall. I ask them how they feel about front doors and homes.
She's an idiot.
What an immoral piece of garbage. I'm pro shutdown. Even if you're pro wall, that's one thing. But to be pro shutdown is disgusting. You're an abomination.
Yeah, she's for any tactic that advances her golden boy here.
Do you mind ringing? Do you mind knocking? There's a system here, and
you have to get permission to enter someone's home. Why shouldn't you have permission to enter a country?
It doesn't. It's like not even an argument, and it's ridiculous if they're trying to call it racist. And quite frankly, no one even cares. The word racism has just lost its edge in America. It's like everything's racist. It's ridiculous. How is this racist? It has nothing to do with.
So why do you keep calling people racist then?
Yeah.
Because both of you have made a point of calling leftists racist for the last few years. I mean, Carl's even been referring to the EU as being like the Nazis. So why you keep saying that if it's lost all its meaning?
Oh, yeah. Only when people on the left use it to criticize things that they say that are highly questionable because they are racist.
Yeah. Whereas, you can't criticize the right. Otherwise, you're being racist. But if the right wingers can do identity politics all day long, and that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Your race. We have a system here. There's law and it has to be respected. And the left wants lawlessness. That's what they want. They want.
Except payment of rent and fulfillment of contracts, Candace, obviously.
Well, yes. She's learning about those laws.
Or indeed, in Carl's case, copyright law. That doesn't need to be respected. That's fine.
They want so much chaos and lawlessness under the Trump administration so they can go in 2020 and say, look at all the chaos that's happened. But they're the ones creating it. Yeah. This makes sense. This is why it's so brilliant when Trump...
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it's the leftists that are sacking all of his people. Oh, no, that's Trump doing that.
And so Trump is the one that's literally taken ownership of the shutdown. He hasn't even been clever enough to actually say... it's the Democrats' fault. No, in that video of the meeting he had with Pelosi and Schumer, he outright owns the shutdown.
He's lied constantly since then, though. But yeah,
he's on tape.
It's.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just it.
Okay. Then, on this, you notice that they didn't actually describe what happened to cause the shutdown. They didn't go through the history of how, the bill was passed in the Senate and Trump had 1 point something in there for border security billion, and then he blew up the process. They're just blaming it all on the Democrats as creating chaos, even though the Democrats have passed bills to reopen the government that the Senate, Mitch McConnell, won't take up.
Yeah, they're a pair of propagandists. That's why.
Yeah. I keep forgetting. Sorry.
Goes and shows the clips of all of them in support of the wall. Chuck Schumer in support of the wall. Barack Obama wrote in his book a whole thing about how illegal immigration is an insult.
No. Again, hang on. Whoa. Again, another lie.
Lies.
Yeah. They support. We pointed this out in the one we did about Trump's speech. Yeah, he supported the 600-mile 2006 Border Wall Erection Act, or whatever it's called. So he doesn't support a wall across the entire border. That's a lie.
Yeah. Again, just well, yeah, they lie. This is what they do, and they don't look up facts because facts prove them wrong. You know, reality and its liberal bias and all that.
In his book,
facts are racist to right wingers.
Alternative facts.
Whatever it was that I didn't read, but I saw the page on it, and there's.
Oh, I didn't read. Of course you didn't.
No, because neither of you can. Yeah.
I have no interest in it.
Videos of him saying that he supports the wall, and they all were on board until Trump said that he wanted to do something about illegal immigration. Right?
Well, Trump effectively seems to have the 1990s Democrat platform.
I mean, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
What is he talking about? This is idiotic. These people are idiots. I know I keep saying that, but I'm just astounded.
I don't even know if you have to go back that far.
Well,
I mean,
it
was all common sense until they started realizing that they lost control.
Yeah.
And
wait, so is there a systematic, socialist agenda that's gone on since the 60s, or were they used to be cool and now Trump has a democratic agenda? I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, also, how is he some revolutionary political thinker if he's literally just stealing ideas from the 1990s?
Democrats, Clinton, who they hate, like Hillary Clinton. They're saying that Trump is basically Hillary Clinton stealing her ideas.
Yeah.
And now they're praising him.
Also, I can't believe I missed that joke. When she said, I didn't really read it, I was just going to say, well, no wonder these two get on so well.
Yeah, exactly.
They read the headline or something, they kind of surmised what it might be about.
Yeah, through their filter.
Yeah. That's what this comes down to. They are shocked that Donald Trump was able to go completely around the mainstream media to defeat two political dynasties and to win president of the United States.
With the help of the Russians.
They are floored. They dominate the media. This is supposed to be the way that, but what did he do? He used social media. Yeah. He got around.
Yeah, the Russians did use social media to get around the election laws. Yeah, she's right on that.
On them, and that's why we're seeing what's happening.
Oh, did she just say Trump got around it? Because if Trump got around it, that would be collusion with the Russians. Yeah,
and of course he spent money paying off hookers who he slept with as well, which is campaign finance.
Well, okay, they weren't hookers. One was I think one was a Playboy bunny, and the other one was a dancer. So I don't know. I just want to use the phrases or what I hear in the media. I don't want to shame sex workers. So.
Oh, I'm not trying to shame anyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that it happened.
Yeah,
I mean, I presume they didn't do this. I presume this didn't happen free of charge. I would imagine.
Well, no, I'd actually think I don't know that. No, I mean when Stormy Daniels talked about it, they had sex with a sort of like, he was saying, oh, it'd be really great to get you on stuff. And then he wanted to meet her afterwards and she wanted to talk about business opportunities and he wanted to have sex. And she's like, forget it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think any money changed hands with her. And I hadn't heard that about the Playboy bunny either. So just like I said, okay. Oh.
Happening now where they're banning conservatives. It's our fault, right? It's the fault of these YouTubers that jumped up and told the truth. Nobody's watching CNN anymore. Nobody cares. Have fun. Have at it, Jake Tapper and Don Lemon.
When have either of you two pricks told the truth?
Never.
When have you ever told the truth?
Yeah, when has she told the truth regards to the fact that back in 2015, she actually had a series of articles that were explicitly anti-Trump. But when you bring them up to her in 2018, she deflects and makes a whole number of excuses as to why she was articles that were anti-Trump back in. Yeah,
well,
real great person to this day.
Well, Paul Joseph Watson did the same. He had a video called "Is Donald Trump a Hillary Clinton plant?" Until he won the nomination, and then all of a sudden he was all aboard the Trump train. He's not a propagandist hack piece of shit at all. Jesus.
Yeah. Again, there's no consistency with these people.
And surprisingly, that video disappeared from his channel, which is a shame because I always thought he stuck by his word, but apparently not.
As much as Candace does.
Yeah.
Self-censorship.
Yes. Okay. So getting on, hit play here.
Just in your echo chamber, nobody cares about CNN. It is fake news,
I love watching them stamp their feet on their shows as well, where they sit there and moralize as if anyone cares.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. Carl doesn't have morals, so of course he thinks other people don't as well.
Yeah.
didn't Sargon just literally describe his entire YouTube career there? You know, with that one single sentence, just moralizing as if anyone actually cares. That is his entire YouTube career.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, yes, again, I think this is a lot of projection. He's projecting that people don't care because he doesn't.
He's Chris Cuomo's moral permission to have their opinion.
Yeah, and they can't stand people like me. You know, they're just shocked, and they're working so hard, and they've got their host for an hour, and I send a tweet, right? And it just gets completely ricochets across the internet, and it makes them look puny because they are puny. There is something that's very puny about the media now. It seems so unimportant when we're fighting to save Western civilization.
They're sitting on a channel with less than 200,000 views and making fun of CNN. Oh, hilarious.
And
also,
raw banning
get this shit about their fight to save Western civilized. Oh, fuck off. What are you talking about?
You notice they're not citing any approval polls because Trump is in the low 30s again, or in the 40s, you know, and he has been his entire presidency. So he is the only president since modern polling has been going to never hit 50%. You don't hear them talking about that, do you?
No.
And we're having meaningful discussions about why it's so important that we have more speech, right, to conquer bad speech, more speech, to debate these ideas and to understand what's happening.
Yeah, and
except she wants to silence people who tell you who you have to vote, or, you know, we must vote for so-and-so to have a better future. She doesn't want to allow that. And of course, free speech doesn't apply to Carl because he's been censored by UKIP. So.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the much more serious point is that Donald Trump has been a constant threat to free speech and free press.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so John, did you want to make a point?
Yeah, I just echo what Kevin said. You know, he's been constantly calling the press or the FBI or anyone else that criticizes him as some sort of great big enemy of the people. And and of course, as you've mentioned before, Carl wants to restrict the right of corporations to not associate with people, have particular people on their platform.
And he wants to restrict the right of universities to teach the courses they want to teach.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, especially on the Patreon point, the way I see it, it's like if you have an apartment and let's say you decide to take someone on to help take someone on as a lodger. And, you know, you make some basic agreements with them. You know, you tell them that they need to pay this much rent. They need to do some basic housekeeping.
Yeah,
and,
faster, John, faster.
Yeah, so and just generally not be such an asshole. But then as it goes on, you find that they keep making an absolute fool of themselves out in public. You've got your friends and co-workers and your boss that are saying, oh, yeah, it's kind of unsafe being seen hanging about this.
John, your connections.
Hi, can you hear me?
Terrible.
It's really bad. That's why I want you to make your points really fast, because the longer you go on, the worse it gets. But yeah, he's like a crappy roommate. I think we get it. So,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll hit play again.
You know which side's just illegitimately defending the status quo when they go down to censorship. You know, there is
John, can you mute yourself again? Because we got that background. Thank you.
One reason to censor, and that is to defend the hegemony of the current existing order.
That is exactly correct.
The only reason.
That is exactly.
Wait, he's saying he's being censored by UKIP to preserve the hegemonic order? Is that what he just admitted to?
Yeah, and also all of these are fighting the establishment. You're literally here defending the president.
Yes, exactly. He's such a rebel.
God.
As the Putin agent, he's such a rebel, Carl.
Correct.
Exactly, and so when they get down to this, and Silicon Valley is completely complicit in all of this, it just goes to show who's in charge.
Right. That's I mean that
Donald
really
Trump
is.
might be the president, but they don't consider him to be in charge.
That's correct.
The mysterious they pops up again.
They consider themselves to be.
I wonder if Carl's they has brackets around it, echo marks by any chance. I wonder.
You have to ask them the next time you talk to him. Yeah.
They look at him like he's led an insurrection.
Right.
How dare you?
Right. How dare you? Yeah, that's it.
Well, of course, if he's an agent of Putin.
Also,
that's exactly true. amount of pressure on Kanye.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, we're never going to finish.
No, but we can skip ahead. You make your point, Kevin.
I was going to make a silly joke. I was going to say he doesn't have a leaden erection, but never mind. It's anyway.
All right. Well, I think
it really wasn't worth destroying wherever the fuck we were. Should we actually just skip ahead a little bit so we get through the bastard?
Yeah, I concur. I concur.
All right, so we've gone to 20 minutes, so it's 17 minutes out from the end. So hopefully they won't be just saying the same ideological talking points back and forth to each other.
Yeah, hopefully.
Same year, 2019. Then, so that's appropriate.
Yeah. Okay.
Find a child's identity like that. It just strikes me as being. I mean, I don't use the terms good and evil. Right. I feel they've got a religious dimension, but. I mean, how else do you describe someone who attacks a child's identity?
Well, think about it though. So what's quite ironic is that you constantly hear their favorite thing to always make comparisons.
I don't know what they're talking about,
and that's by design. And the thing is, so it's like the government. It was evil in the government.
I don't know what that child thing was, so I'm hoping maybe.
Well, they're doing transphobia. That's their new thing. Oh, if you dare to support children who are trans, that means you're an evil man who wants to cut off penises of all the children in the world.
All right. Okay. Right. So now that gay rights or LGB rights, more gay equality. Sorry, I'm going to specify it. They're now demonizing trans people the way they used to call gay people pedophiles. They've just moved. Their target is moved now because they lost that last battle, and now they're trying to redefine a new enemy.
It's like the argument of the God of the gaps. As soon as society's tolerance for bigotry reduces, they have to then find, oh well, actually there's still the T. We can attack the T in LGBT.
Yeah.
So
also on a technical note, my keyboard is actually really far away from me, which is why I'm not just tapping the spacebar or hitting K to hit play. I'm using a mouse that's much closer and easier to reach. So
is it very far away from you, or do you just have?
I literally have to pick up my arm and like stretch out, whereas I've got my mouse and I can just click.
With the answer the question, or do you just have short arms?
I have short arms.
Is this are you doing this from your bedroom, needing the pillows for the support?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a whole complicated setup now, and I have to stretch to reach things because of the sound system. But that's boring. We can. I do
absolutely love your picture, by the way. Just off topic, I love the kind of optical illusion thing.
Thanks. Is cool.
Yeah,
John hasn't really bought into the we're trying to get through this video.
Okay, so I'm hitting play now.
Right, so I always say there's two types of leftists: the ignorant or evil. Right, so you have the government who is just evil, and they just wanted to make sure.
Who's spreading hate here? Who's the one spreading hate?
Yeah.
Fuck off, Candace, you prick.
Yeah.
They could secure the black vote after we got our rights and the civil rights. They said, okay, now we need to marry them so that they always need the government, and we are always voting, in a way that grows government. So that's evil. But then you think about what's going on now and what's happening with these white allies, as they call themselves.
I mean, this is
seriously crazy stuff.
It's fucking mental tinfoil hat bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
and again, no wonder she gets on with fucking Carl, because he's shit about, they'd all be fine if they were just married. That would instantly get rid of poverty, apparently.
And it's also so insulting to African Americans who've been elected in Congress and working on behalf of all Americans and also representing their experiences and the needs of the African American community that they come out of and represent. She's basically saying all these people are evil because they think the government can be a force of good in society. That's really it, but that's really it. So
I spoke a little bit about this before, but this is the complex of the white savior, right? Where it's like they feel so good, like they can pound their chest and they can look at another white person and say, "You're disgusting. This is what I do for Black people." But it's
no. Actually, I actually would think of how Steve Shives talked about listening to people talk at a conference about allyship is not a title you take on for yourself. Allyship is performance. It's how you behave and it's how you act. And it's not a title you say, you can't criticize me for this because I've been an ally for that. That's not allyship. And what she's describing here, I don't even recognize. What she's doing right now is racist.
patronizing. It is condescending, and you know it's not true. They are not trying to help Black people, because when they hear a voice like mine, and I'm Black, what do they do?
We criticize the
Who's
fact that you don't
censoring
cite
her?
policies. Yeah.
Who's censoring it? No, you're the one, fucking Candace, who was going on about how you don't want you're not going to be prepared to listen to the voices of Black people who disagree with you, so you can fuck off.
So her take is basically white people who are also Democrats and believe in justice. Oh, John, you're really bad.
Yeah, I had exactly
John.
the same
John,
thought.
it's
hang
terrible.
on, sorry.
Okay, that's better. Oh, is he gone now? Okay. You want to try again?
Hang on.
Try.
Are you in the snooker hall? Did I just hear snooker ball?
Yeah, it was a pool ball. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought. How on earth is Candace Owens getting censored? Because last I checked, she has a Twitter, she has a Facebook, she has a Patreon, she's out there on the television, she's got numerous other media resources that she's able to lean on. How the fuck is she getting censored?
Like all of these people, they are incredibly loud for people who claim to have been censored and silenced.
Yeah.
It's the loudest silence I've ever heard.
Also, if I can just say that as a white Democratic voter from the United States, what Candace is saying that is I am either evil because I want the government to do good for society and be a force for good in society, or I'm a horrible, self-centered, self-righteous person who really doesn't want to help Black people. So any way that a liberal or Democrat who is white tries to perform allyship, she's trying to discredit anything we're doing, either as being evil or as not really being there to help Black people. I don't know how she can possibly know that, because that's not her experience. And yeah, I think it's a nice way for Carl then to point to Candace and say, look, you're not an ally. She sort of, again, justifying his undermining of white allyship as well. They're both working to undermine white allyship. Yeah,
well, she's actively trying to be a token. That's all she is. I mean, she's a professional token for Carl to hold her. Like, I just this Black person agrees with me.
Mm-hmm.
John, that's your cue to talk. Your cue.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this. But yeah, she is absolutely just a token. She's the literal equivalent of, we can't. Us Republicans can't be racist. We've got a Black friend.
Yeah, it's like the same way that Milo decries identity politics, but then at the same time uses it to legitimize what he says to a conservative audience, and and sort of putting down the liberals, and that's how he gets the look. Even this guy, broke free and now agrees with us. So by playing identity politics, they actually elevate their status. And here, her attempts are to undermine the efforts of white people who do believe in racial justice by undermining our motives, and that's really, really sad. It's really sad.
I just want to say, it took real balls for you to say that earlier. It really did. Balls.
Balls?
I'm not.
Oh, snooker.
Yeah,
snooker.
I'm not smoking pot or anything. I'm not smoking pot. Pot. Come on now, people.
Right. I'll put it in the yes. That's a kind of you have to know a lot about pool or snooker maybe to get that.
I pulled that one out of my pocket.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so let's have a little bit more and then we'll wrap it up, because John's audio is really, really awful. So
yeah, my apologies.
I'll chalk that one up as a win. I'll chalk that one up as a win.
God, you're just on a roll there, Kevin. You're gonna what do you call it? I can't remember what he calls when you break all the balls together. I'm ruining my palm. Okay, hitting play. A break. Yes, just take a break. There we go.
All right, let's go.
They try to suppress me. They say don't listen to her. Because what happens? The whole world falls apart when a Black person looks them in the eye and says, "I don't need you."
So they're basically back to the Kanye points. They're just rehashing the same stuff. It sounds like that they rehashed the first 20 minutes of the video. Seems to me, anyway. I don't know. Does it get any better? It might just be the same conversation for almost 40 minutes.
It might be. I don't know.
maybe skip ahead to, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that.
I'm just about there. So
Stop shaming women for wanting to stay home and be good wives and good mothers.
And this, oh my God, this
Shaming
is
them.
yeah, exactly. Who's shaming people for being stay-at-home moms? Again, this sort of like they're having the arguments from the 80s as if nothing has changed in 40 years.
It's I'll tell you what is far more shaming is the right-wing policies which drive women who stay at home to look after their children into poverty.
Exactly. The state is not helping those women at all. Stay at home.
Exactly.
Or indeed actually forcing families apart, because we all know that financial crisis is one of the leading causes of divorce. If you want to keep families together, actually one of the things you could do is support one-earner households. But they don't. They force both of them out into the wall, which means you've got less focused parenting and more stress in the family in general, which is not good for anyone.
Yeah, during my arguments with the honey badgers on Twitter, on a related note, I had mentioned the fact that austerity demonstrably statistically affects women and disabled people more than any other group. So, it's absolutely...
Also, yeah, just on the point of shaming women as well, again, as Trump fans, I don't think they've got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
He shamed God knows how many women. He said you've literally got to treat them like shit.
Classy guy, that Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classy.
He's the kind of classy guy who would order 300 hamburgers and serve them to the NCAA champions.
Yes. All right.
Something that I hear all the time from people on the left, and they are nihilistic to the point where I just can't even stand talking to them sometimes. They're like, I have no meaning in my life. And it's like, yes, okay, but most people gain meaning through their children.
Who is he talking to on the left that tells them they don't have meaning in their life? I just don't believe this at all. Does anyone else doubt this?
I don't know. I can't name a single person I've ever heard say that. And I swim amongst the left.
I think he's just talking about the imaginary people on the left he makes up in his head.
Well, he needs them to be so he just imagines them as the straw man and says, oh, well, I've had these conversations, which he has in his head.
Or one person says it, and then he's like, I've had all these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bullshitometer is massively blaring right now. I refuse to believe that anyone has ever said that to him. Or if they were, then, I don't know.
It wasn't because they were on the left.
No.
Right.
And you're a childless 30-something spinster.
Lena Dunham.
Oh, wait. Were we talking about shaming women for their choices just a second ago?
Yeah. So again, if you make the decisions they like, that's terrible. You can't shame them. But if you don't, you're a 30-something spinster. You're barren. Your womb has given forth no fruit. You are damned.
Wow, they're such hypocrites and idiots. It's amazing. They don't even realize how literally we randomly started, and it was about feminists who don't shame women who stay at home doing that, even though that doesn't happen. And now they're shaming women, as you point out. Oh my God, these
Chelsea Handler. We can go online. Kathy Griffin. What do you think they're so miserable? I think it's Trump. It's because they have nothing.
Exactly.
They have no lives.
Yeah, it's terrible to shame them, but these people have literally no lives.
These famous, successful women.
They've got incredibly successful media careers, and
what is Candace? What is Candace Owens' life exactly? Appearing on a with less than 200k subscribers, and let's compare her to Cortez. Both her and Cortez are exactly the same age, 29. One of them is an elected.
Sorry to interrupt there, John. Go on.
Yeah, both of them are the same age, 29. One of them is an elected representative on the House of Representatives.
You say she's 29, Candace Owens?
Yep.
So she's 1 year away from being a barren, fruitless...
Yeah.
Yes. I'm now chalking her up on the list. So that's Candace Owens, Lauren Southern, Tommy Lauren, Lana Luckteff. Who else? There's loads of them. All these, Brittany Pettibone, and all of these fucking arseholes who are absolutely adamant. You've got to have. If you don't, your life is pointless and meaningless. Women should devote themselves to the trad life. Who are career women who have no children.
Of course.
Exactly.
It's because, I got in trouble for saying that they didn't use their eggs and now they've scrambled, right? And
It's true.
It's true. We're meant to have children, we're meant to produce. So
you've got 3 months to get pregnant before, well, assuming she's literally just turned 29, you've got 3 months to get pregnant in order to give birth before the age of 30, before your eggs scramble, which is biologically ridiculous because you can give birth, some women can give birth up to the age of 40.
So this is the Kate Mann idea of misogyny. Women who defy the traditional life and the traditional expectations are the object of hatred, both by men and women. In this case, misogyny isn't about men hating women. It's about the societal rejection in this case. And then not societal rejection, but the individual rejection of women who want to break those traditions. And they do it by demonizing them and undermining their humanity. And that's what they're doing here. If you don't have a baby as a woman, you basically don't have any purpose in living, which is just a really stupid thing to say, because we have brains as well as reproductive parts.
Well, it is really stupid, especially when the woman saying it is barren and child.
He's basically entering that category herself. Yes.
Yeah.
What happens? They're not.
I think it's really cruel for Candace to mention scrambled eggs around a fat man. That's just out of order. She's trying to watch him. Come on now. Well, I can say that.
They're not able to be.
Lots of scrambled egg. I like scrambled egg. Fuck it.
I like them over easy. I like them over easy. Okay, we're going on.
Mothers in their lives, and now they're trying to.
You heard it.
What? You faded out there for a second.
Oh, sorry. I said you heard it here first. Christy likes it easily. That's it. That's
Bring your mic closer to your mouth. I don't know where you're sitting, but it's not by your mic.
No.
Other society,
Yes.
in a weird, crazy way. They're unhappy. They're unfulfilled.
And
because they.
Again, projecting. She knows apparently she can read the mind of every woman who doesn't have a child. This is just tinfoil talk. It's tinfoil talk. It's misogynistic and hatred. It's very much a hatred of women in that sort of specific way I mentioned.
And why not applying the same logic to men? I mean, don't men want to be fathers as well?
Right. Men are meant to reproduce, right? That's why you produce semen.
Yeah.
That's why, so if that's the case, why does this only apply to women?
You always have to bring it back, I think, with these two fucking propagandist hacks, because they're here basically ostensibly to suck off Trump, right? It's worth bearing in mind that if they have such reverence for women who give birth, why are they okay supporting a guy who was off sleeping with porn stars? Their newly born was being cradled in their mother's arm.
Well, it's easier to judge women that don't exist using criteria that you've made up and views you've attributed to them. So,
on everybody else.
You can be unhappy and miserable, but stop pretending it's Trump. Sit down with your thing.
So now she's saying women who oppose the constitutional threat that Trump poses to our democracy are just mad because they don't have babies. Wow, that's incredibly wow. So yeah, she basically disrespects everyone.
Yeah, that's way more shaming than anyone that she could mention earlier. But also, how does she explain the fact that lots of women who have children despise Trump too?
Yes. Yes, excellent point. Excellent point.
And the fact that they've got barren, fruitless desert women like Ann Coulter who support Trump.
Well, see, again, Kevin, you in reality...
It's almost as if giving birth is not the predeterminant of what a woman thinks or feels.
Imagine that. Almost, you'd think. Okay.
I think that it's because of...
It's all like complex three-dimensional.
Okay,
it's something deep within yourself that you need to go to therapy.
Yes, exactly. And
see, this is it. If a woman says something now, Carl's like, "Oh, you go to therapy. You're just a crazy woman." Like Jordan Peterson, I can't hit you, so I just have to dismiss you. The things that I can punch a man. It's just all of this. It's a crazy also, ideology they hold to.
With Carl's sort of red face there, is he going tomato in the fruit face theory? Is that what's happening?
I think so. Very cherry tomato. Or maybe more like a beef.
It's technically a fruit.
Yeah, it is a fruit.
And it's because of this weird role reversal that we're seeing happening in society. And what I say is I'm actually probably a true feminist, right? I'm actually a true feminist.
Shaming women, degrading women, dismissing women. She's the true feminist. Amazing.
You barren harpies. How dare you? Yeah, I'm the true feminist. Absolutely. You have no lives without children. I'm the true feminist.
I understood
I support a
feminism.
man who literally bragged about. I support a man who literally bragged about sexually assaulting women by grabbing them by the vaginas. I'm a true feminist.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm having an interview with a guy who said he wouldn't even rape a female politician. I am the true feminist.
Yeah.
To be an empowerment.
Right.
I mean, like when I first started doing what I was doing, I considered myself a feminist in the sort of, you know, liberal second.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, he has never been a feminist. No.
Also, I mean, I just want to work. Regardless of what he used to be, he found out that it was much more profitable to blame Lacey Green for the murders of Misogyny.
Yeah, and you know, basically demean Anita Sarkeesian professionally for a year.
Yeah,
basically.
American context liberal, but you know, like not the socialist.
Like liberating.
Yeah, exactly. For like self-empowerment and. You know.
So I don't know what he means. This. You know, I've heard of Marxist feminists. I know Marxist feminist, liberal feminist, radical feminist. I've not heard of a specific socialist feminist, so I think he might have just made that up. I could be wrong because I don't know every single feminist theory ever, but
you get Marxist feminists.
But yeah, you definitely. But I mean, in terms of like socialism as a particular category of thought.
Well, it's not quite. I mean, they're interlinked in a way, but obviously, feminism is much more a theory of social relations, whereas socialism is much more an economic theory.
Correct.
You can combine them.
Yeah, you can do it.
No, I don't know. I know lots of people who would describe themselves as a socialist and a feminist, but no one who would describe themselves as a socialist feminist.
Right, like someone would say I'm a radical feminist or a Marxist feminist or a liberal feminist. Yeah, you know, those categories.
Socialist and feminist are both quite broad in churches, so it's to describe yourself in that way is just to basically say I'm vaguely on the left, really.
Yeah. So again,
where exactly?
Carl seems to be talking out of his ass again, is what I suspect. It is a default position here. So anyway, I'll hit play and let it run. Sorry.
You know, you should be breaking through barriers rather than having them imposed on you and getting consent forms to have sex with people.
Time out. Didn't he come on our show only a few weeks ago and say he supported the patriarchy?
He said he supported reevaluating things in society in order to break through and question them, but then also criticize the people who are engaging in that process. And he said he supported the patriarchy. Yeah. So he says anything.
So what's he talking about? He supports people breaking through barriers. He wants men to rule and dominate over women.
Correct.
Also, the consent forms. I am so fucking sick of that straw man. It is, because like with the whole issue of consent, it's like no one has suggested at all the nature of consent forms. Literally, all anyone has ever advocated when it comes to the issue of consent is learning a few basic things. Is this woman saying no at any point? Is this girl too drunk to intelligently give consent? That is literally the only sort of stuff that has actually been advocated. You know,
actually, a lot of feminists have actually argued, I think quite rightly, that consent forms would be a rapist's charter because they could either force a woman to sign it and then rape her, or it would be consenting initially and then become physically violent, and she would want to withdraw her consent, but be legally unable to prove that she had withdrawn her consent because there would be a signed piece of paper saying she had given consent.
Exactly.
So again, but the thing is, if Carl didn't have straw man arguments, he wouldn't have any arguments at all. So okay, it's going past 8 o'clock, so let's wrap it up. We'll go to maybe to the end of this, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, maybe go to 35-minute mark, maybe, because
if we can get there, that would be surprising, but we'll see.
No, I mean, like, actually skip to the 35-minute mark.
Do you know if there's something there worth talking about, or are you just guessing?
Just guessing.
Okay, well, can we just wrap this up? Because I don't want to start something new. I hopefully want to bring this to an end because we've been going for 2 hours. So, okay.
Give me a consent. I'd just be like, please go away. Please just go away. I never want to see you again. And it's destroying. There's something so beautiful.
Yeah, that's how sex works all the time, isn't it? It's if you just say go away, men respect and honor that. They don't ever force the issue in any way whatsoever. It's not as if millions of rapes every year around the world. No, that's
right. Or that she's buying into a straw man argument here and giving it credence.
and so spiritual and so symbiotic about the relationship between a man and a woman. I mean, there's something beautiful.
No, fine, mate. It's not symbiotic. You don't understand that word, you fucking idiot.
And again, coming back to Trump,
physical connection. It's not. Oh God.
He had a very symbiotic relationship with Stormy Daniels, Kevin.
No.
About it, men offer things that women cannot. We think differently. We're just different, right? I believe in like a women's intuition. I've seen it happen over and over again. I've obviously been able.
Okay, yep. Now she thinks things exist because she's inferring women's intuition is a real thing.
We spent some considerable time with the president, and there's something beautiful about his relationship with Melania, and that's how it's meant to be.
Yeah, like when she'd just given birth and he was railing a porn star.
All right, that's it. Yeah, I'm done.
That's beautiful.
I'm done.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh God, that was like a Bronte novel in many respects, wasn't it?
Their love.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I heard the Beatles. A tear came to my eye. Oh, glorious.
Yeah. Just her holding up the Trump marriage as a symbol of, or an example of something beautiful when we know he's cheated and paid off 2 women.
Yeah.
That we know of.
After that, from her body language, Melania despises the guy. So obviously.
Oh, God, yeah. Freud would have a field day. He really would.
And I don't blame her. Not that I feel remotely sorry for her. She married a man that she knew was physically and sexually abusive. So, I mean, the fact that she got cheated on isn't what can she have expected? But it's still trash, and I don't for a second deny her the right to be thoroughly disgusted with the man. But she also says things. Fuck her. Like I'm torn on the matter.
One other thing as well. One other thing that I don't think we got to cover in the video, but I do know actually was in the video, was at one point in the video, Candace Owens also says that Lyndon B. Johnson was the worst thing to happen in to the black community of America. And just for historical clarity, Lyndon B. Johnson was the one who signed the Civil Rights Act. But he's the worst thing to happen to America, not the entire Republican Southern strategy. No, it's Lyndon B. Johnson giving black people more freedom.
Actually, just the existence of slavery was surely worse.
Well, yes, that too.
For centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so my takeaway from this is the only policy that they named was the wall, and they got it wrong. And they discussed the shutdown, but they didn't describe it properly or understand it properly. And the rest of it was ideological circle jerk. That pretty much sums it up?
That pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to say that I have here, I'm just going to say that given Carl's got kicked off of Patreon and that he is more of a propaganda machine than Fox News, I think that maybe RT should be reaching out to Carl and funding his work because he's clearly on the same agenda Putin has in terms of propping up Trump to destroy America. So look for that maybe in the future.
Why would they pay him when he's doing it for free?
Yeah. He's not poor enough yet to need them, and then they'll...
He sold himself. Yeah, he sold himself short there. He could have earned some serious ruble.
Yes. I mean, they wouldn't be worth very much, but... oh, well... I have to say, I could not have done this by myself. This is
I'm not even sure that I alone was good enough to give you assistance. I think we need Kevin to help make the situation.
I believe strongly in both of you. I think you both would have been fine on your own or without me.
Oh, thanks, man.
Okay.
But yeah, this was I have to say it was kind of fun doing this debunking. So yeah, thanks you both for hanging out. Also, thanks to the 90 plus people who joined us. And given that I only set it up a couple hours ahead of time because we only decided to do it today, like a couple hours ahead of time. Thanks for all the people who stopped by in the chat. You guys had some really funny comments, and I appreciate that. I didn't see them all, but I will check again later. So. Hey, Kevin, you want to plug anything? That's I know I shared something recently from your channel. Do you want to give a plug to that?
No, I don't want to plug that. I want to plug the end of British democracy that I'm watching. on my eyes. That's good.
So are they? What is the?
What did you say from my channel? What are you talking about? What did you say?
Oh, John, that was awful. Sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
Has the
Daleks invaded
has the vote happened yet?
It has, and I'm not, because I haven't got the volume on, I'm not entirely sure what he's saying, but the numbers will come up on the screen at some point. Yeah, they're literally in the process of voting at the moment. But
well, do you
it
want
doesn't
me?
really matter because it's going to get voted down anyway. But anyway, yeah, go on. Sorry. What did you share from my channel? What are you talking about? What?
I was talking about the Jeff Holiday thing.
Oh yeah, I just some receipts that he lied. He said that I was transphobic, which I'm not. But I pointed out, I then literally flipped it on him and said, "Well, no, you denied that Riley Dennis was trans," and he said, "No, I just thought she was being stupid." And then I showed a clip of him from a thing he did where he was literally saying she's a transgender and dead naming her as well, which is always good.
Okay, well, I've got something here from the Spectator Index on Twitter, and this was posted 20 minutes ago. This just in: Brexit debate ends in the House of Commons. Voting expected within an hour.
Well, they're now beginning to vote on the amendments, but it literally doesn't matter because the actual full thing is going to go down in flames.
Okay.
They're looking at possibly the biggest parliamentary loss ever, 200 plus majority against.
Not that it will lead to the Prime Minister resigning, because even though in the olden days such a thing would have probably led to any Prime Minister resigning, Theresa May seems quite resolute in remaining to power.
Well,
but then again,
that's just because she's a barren, fruitless desert of a woman. She hates everything because she has no children, even though she's like fucking 70 or something.
Then again, the other options aren't particularly that much better. I mean, you know, as bad as Theresa May is, she's still better than Boris Johnson or the Mog or any of those other options.
Well, Jacob Rees-Mogg won't become Prime Minister. I think that's pretty.
No.
Johnson could, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yes, no, go. Actually, don't bother watching my stuff. Stay on this channel or go to John's channel and watch their stuff. That's better.
Well, you've got a Twitter. I don't know if you have a channel.
I've got a Twitter. I don't have an active. Twitter. I don't have. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can see my quite animated argument with the money badgers about how much of a bunch of utter shit they are with regards to men's mental health and some of the quite staggering, ridiculous claims that they make.
Well, on a good note, I get my Twitter, my ability to tweet back, in, I don't know.
Oh, what did you do this time?
That's good.
So when is it, Kevin? How long?
It's about, I can't remember exactly the number of hours because we've gone some hours since, but basically I'll get it back at 11:30 tomorrow morning. Yeah.
What did you do this time?
It was fair enough. Look, I'm really annoyed because it's something stupid, but I was genuinely quite rude and verbally abusive.
I don't know.
Rightfully, they deserved it. I think they deserved it, but technically under the rules, yes.
Yeah.
I'm banged to rights.
Considering that, I don't think you should ask him what it was since he already acknowledged.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like maybe not best.
No, well, it wasn't terrible. I didn't use any like racial epithets or anything, but I did use some robust Anglo-Saxon vernacular.
And also somewhere in the week, put your Twitter in the link in the chat if people want to go follow you.
See, if it was gay porn, I think people would forgive you, I think.
No, I did not pull a saga guns. So
all
right.
But the world could get so much hope from gay porn.
Well, that's a possibility, but I don't know if it's appropriate on Twitter. And on that
bombshell.
Yes, we will be signing off. So thanks to my guests and thanks you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it and talk to you again. Oh, so I've been Christy. You guys all have been awesome. And thanks to the chat, everyone watching in the future. Say goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
And say goodbye, Kev.
Goodbye, Kev.
Bye, you guys.